How was everybody? Can come to any to bring it to. You just. Yeah. It was so wild. There were two actual accidents literally across from each other on 64.
You know what
Oh my
happened?
God.
Somebody was looking at the accident,
Right.
ran into the back of somebody else.
That's why the traffic was so slow. It's like, everything had been cleared, but everybody was going like 5 miles an hour just to look around. I'm like, if there's nothing to see, come on.
Just keep it moving.
Move on, move on.
Well, it is a natural psychological thing, like, you know, everyone feels like they have to look at an accident.
Well, it was kind of fun. I mean, not funny, but it was like odd that there was a truck and a car like this on the side of the road. It was like, how did they do? Like,
How does that
I
happen?
feel like
couldn't
it was
figure it out.
An exit or something.
Yeah,
I guess it was very weird. I don't know.
yeah, I'll just put it up here with one of these, thank you. Yeah, when I was coming back from, the bay yesterday, I looked over on the eastbound lanes and I was like, that's weird. There are no cars at all. There are no cars at all. And then I came up and I saw it must have been a tangled mess because they weren't even, I think the emergency vehicles were just getting there and I said a prayer for whoever was in it because it didn't look pretty. I know.
All right. Well,
I'm in traffic now.
excuse me?
I said, I'm in traffic now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, apparently Peggy said there was a big backup.
Hey, Ariel, is there any way I can see who's online?
Yeah, we can change this right here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like do that
Oh, cool.
and then you can see the
Okay,
numbers.
that's helpful.
Yeah, so and there may be more down here.
Oh, hey, Burnett.
See, so it goes further. Okay. For those online, Peggy's gonna get started, but it's hard for her to like watch the room, watch the slides and see that you might have a question or comment. So if you do, just speak up and then she can help you. Okay?
All right.
All right, y'all have fun.
Yeah, I know. I feel like I need to take a little break. All right. Hi, everybody online and hello, everybody in the room. We've got everybody on the side where they are not on the camera. Don't do that on purpose. Yeah, so today is a really fun day about capturing leads. I know that you all have been kind of working toward that in Ignite. You've done the social media leads. You did some database work, right? And what was the other lead gen that was before this? Well, last week was social media.
Yeah, and then we had leads with open house.
Open houses, that's right, thank you. Yeah, so those two are really, really crucial, especially in this environment. So this is just added to the two that you've already talked about. So we're gonna go dive into lots of other ways you can capture leads. So is there anybody new online that has not ever been to Ignite or to Keller Williams? I'm going to give you a chance to say hello and introduce yourself. Let's see who we got. Cheyenne. Hi, Cheyenne. Can you hear me?
Hi, I'm driving. I'm on my way. I'm in
Oh,
traffic.
be safe. Be safe. I know it's crazy out there. Just take your time.
Okay.
Hi, Janae. How you doing?
Good morning.
Good morning. And Burnett, are you at the beach?
You had the beats on.
I'm back now.
Oh, you are? I was having some jealousy there. Well, I hope you had fun.
Had a good time. Yes.
Good to see you here. All
Thank
right.
you.
So today we're going to be capturing leads and talking about lead gen, and we're going to really dive into other ways you can lead gen because there are lots of other ways to lead gen that are creative. And there's going to be a lot of interaction in this class because I want you guys to also give each other ideas and things that you may have already done. So let me go ahead and, oh, yay, okay. All right. we got all these disclaimers, let me just work, okay, great. So today we're gonna talk about generating leads and growing your database, capturing leads. Oh, we did all that. So we're right here, capture more leads. All right, these slides are a little different from what's on my screen. All right, so today we're gonna start about thinking about ways you can learn different ways of lead gen. And good morning, how are you? I'm sure you were in that traffic jam.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you that excuse. Um, so let me go on past here. All right, so we've said all along, Keller Williams offers systems and models, and we're going to be talking about the system and models with lead gen that have to do with marketing, prospecting. Those are all the areas we're going to be covering today, and then also the follow-up and kind of the whole process of starting that. So would someone like to read this quote for me?
You love people, but at the same time, you haven't yet learned to love hunting for them.
Yes. All right. Can anybody relate to that statement? You know, you get into this business and you're like, you know, I meet so many people, I can talk to people easily, but then going from that to actually engaging in them to gain business, whole different ballgame. So we're going to have some opportunities today to learn how to navigate that. So that's exciting. All right. So lead gen should always be a purposeful and intentional process. And this slide just talks about the systems to help make your lead generation more purposeful. We call the message and method of your lead gen the 2MS. You may follow along with your purchase. Okay, let's see. The message must, number one, match your market, and number two, make an offer for immediate response. Have any of you ever heard the term MOFR? Well, that's make an offer for immediate response. So it just means you want to approach your client to get the quickest response you can out of it to gain that lead. And a lot of people will find ways to do that through these methods, through marketing, prospecting, and all the different systems. All right, so anyone want to like read that? Alexis, you want to read? Nice and loud.
Your number one job is to find ways to get in the path of motivated buyers and sellers.
Okay, so we talked about the first quote was being around people you know you're comfortable, but then the next step of actually talking about real estate is a very different way of talking to people you know. This one is you want to get in the path of motivated buyers and sellers. So in order to do that, you have to reach a lot of people, right? Not everybody's up for buying a house or selling a house. So a lot of it has to do with numbers. You want to make sure you get yourself out in front of as many people as you can in different ways you can. Okay, so a big part of building your database, building your leads is building that rapport. And you may have talked about this in the social media, well, not social media, more at the open house section, where you have to really understand building rapport as quickly as you can in order to capture a lead. So when you're using other methods outside of having your direct audience coming to you, then you have to really find ways to navigate people that you don't even know whether they're open to buying or selling, but building a rapport with them just naturally to gain that trust. So then when they do approach you with that, they're going to pick you. They're going to be the, you know, you're going to be the one that'll be in their mind if you really focus on that when you're having any kind of interchange with people. All right. So, and we also want to make sure we utilize, I'm kind of referring back to some of the earlier ignites because it all kind of builds on top of each other. You want to always refer back to the Ford method. Remember the family, occupation, what was the R? Recreation. Recreation, and what's the D? The D has several different words that it is. Dreams, yeah. I've heard other ones too, but dreams. So always remember that process when you're meeting someone and talking with someone that gives you so many different pieces of information that help you move forward. Okay. So I know we just kind of pushed through all that and it's gonna go, let's see, going forward. Hold on. Oh, there we go. All right, so looking at this slide, you realize leads are everywhere. Give me an example of some place that you've gotten a lead that was unexpected.
Girl Scouts.
Girl Scouts, okay, Dylan,
This weekend, golfing.
golfing.
Yes.
All right, can you tell us a little bit more about what
Yeah,
that
we
was
just
like?
had a Scrabble partner and he just like wanted to play with me. So I'm like, all right. And he was older gentleman. And yeah, so we just started talking. I told him it was real estate and he's like, oh, really? How's that go with the new settlement and all that? So I kind of explained to the best when I understand it. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I ended up getting his number and stuff. Now he's not looking right now, but it's a lead.
Awesome, awesome. So, and anyone online that would like to pipe in and contribute, please, just speak out and I will stop talking. Yeah, so you approached the person and you were in a scenario where it was natural to approach people, right? So you said Girl Scouts. Good morning. You said Girl Scouts. Well, that's also like an engaging audience already. And you probably know some of the people, right?
So I certainly wasn't. A lot of my stuff isn't where I'm like talking real estate, because it's a little odd,
Right,
right?
right.
Because it's through my kids or through church or through sports,
right.
but then things come up and we just start talking about it. But
Right, so if you kind of follow this order, you're approaching the person, and that can be at your kid's school and you meet a parent and you approach them and just introduce yourself if you hadn't met them before. That's a perfect example of like, you have a reason to meet them. And then you're connecting. So when you connect, you're talking about the fort, you're talking about what they do, where they, if you don't know them. And if you do, kind of dig into where they are now, it's always a great way to lead into you being in real estate and getting to know if they're looking to buy or sell. And then that third one is to ask, like, you can ask a person, hey, are you in the market to buy a house? Or you know anybody that is? I'm in real estate and I'd love to help out you or any of your friends. That is just a natural way to approach someone. And then the next step would be to take the steps to get that lead active that we'll dive into shortly. Is there anybody online that wants to give me an example of a way that you have gotten a lead out in something you've done outside of social media, open houses? Okay, let's see who we got. Hi, Shay. Oh, that's Shay. Okay, Shay, did you want to share?
Oh, I just opened the mic. I'm still working on I went to CVS and I was talking to this nurse practitioner, told you about it, and I'm still working on her. Hopefully she's going to respond to me.
Okay. Have you talked to her since then? I know you told me about this a while back.
No, a couple of times I've texted her and I'm still waiting on that.
Okay, so let me ask you, have you been back to that pharmacy?
Not yet.
Go back to the pharmacy. That's going to be your best way to get her. If she's not responding to your calls, just go back in there for a reason, like go buy something that you need in the pharmacy department. And then, if you see her, just approach and remind her who you are. And then you can kind of go from there. And you'll get a better feel for whether she wants to participate or not interested. But at least you've made that contact.
Sounds good. I'll do it.
Yeah. All right. Good. Anybody else want to share online? I don't want to forget about my folks online because I know you guys, I understand what it's like to be online because you're kind of listening in and you might have something you want to say, but you don't think anyone's listening. So I'm there. I'm here for you. All right. So at this point, we're going to talk about ahas. And, I think I'm sure there's some ahas that you've thought about while you're sitting here thinking of all the different ways that you can meet people. Would anybody like to share something about this?
I mean, in myself, like even this week in Starbucks, like I try to go inside every time just to have connections, and I try to think of ways I can connect with people. Like there was a guy with an army shirt. I started talking to him. And I'm like, hey, I asked their, MOS, whatever, and then it went from there. I'm like, hey, I might go to your place sometime, to your base. Or another guy was wearing some nice shoes. So I'm like, oh, you have some nice shoes. I really like your outfit, and I started talking to him that way. And that's like how I've been trying to engage with people. That's the hard part, is finding ways to connect. But I just find like the little things. So
Yeah.
I think that process is what I've been trying to use. So.
Yeah, and it's a natural thing where when you look at it, you're like, it's formulated, but it also is natural. I mean, like if I was just meeting you for the first time and I said, hey, are you in my house? If I said that right to you, you're like, I've never met this woman in my life, but you'd be like, no thanks, I'm good. It's kind of like when you're in the department store. How many of you actually run the other way when a person that's working in a department store wants to see if you need help? Yeah, I hate it. I am not a department store person. I know what I want. When I go in, I'm like, just let me look. That is something I personally find kind of like, okay, I don't need your help. But there are times I go in and I need help. And so I seek them out. And then it's a whole different exchange. So, that's something you just kind of have to really sense when you're in a situation. All right, so
Sometimes I'll talk to the person, like if I'm checking out of somewhere, I'll talk to them, like if it's later in the evening and I can tell they're kind of tired, I'll say like, gosh, how much longer do you have to work? Like I'll ask them a question about themselves and then they'll, tell me what time they get off. And I'm just like, oh gosh, well, hopefully, and so sometimes then it'll turn into like, well, what do you do? So if I'm at the grocery at like 10 a.m., they're like, what are you doing here at the grocery? And so I'll say, oh, I'm in real estate. And I've actually handed out my card. Like people have said, oh my gosh, do you have a card on you? And I'll hand it out. It's kind of crazy, but like, just ask them a question to engage and make it not seem like you care, but
right,
I care about them.
People love
Yes, yes.
yeah. I mean, it's so we are now just on the first level of this process because you can throw yourself out there all day, but if you don't capture them,
Right.
you're just kind of like, it's like you're running through a desert trying to get to water if you can ever find it, because you're just running for it and you're not grabbing it. It's like bad metaphor, but you just need to understand there's the next step. So giving them a card is good, but if you could have that tap card where you can get their information, that's something I want to actually try to get. I have a Blink card on my phone and I will send that to someone and I'll capture their phone number, but there is something even better that you can get that captures their contact information. And we can talk about, I know some people in PC have this
The
card.
dot card.
What's it called?
I have the dot card.
A dot card. Yeah, thank you, dot. And I think there's one called tap.
So like, yeah.
There's one called dot, yeah. So, all right, well, so we're gonna dig now into the two ways that we can find leads that are, oh, look at that. We're sharing the
Do
blank.
I have my camera on? No.
No, so I'm gonna tap on the back and then that should, if it doesn't pop up, it'll do a camera. Is it not working? Okay, maybe it's not working on here.
We're
But then you
experimenting
can do
with.
that way.
Oh, it did. It
Yeah,
did,
so
it
you
did.
click that and then that comes up.
Oh, look at
and then-
that. Dylan was sharing, for those of you online, Dylan was sharing his block card with Mindy and she got the information right away. Very cool. How much did that cost?
Like $12.
One
Just
time?
12 bucks?
Yeah.
And then you have
There
it?
is a premium feature on it. I don't use it. I just kind of,
Okay.
the only problem I see about this card is they have to give you their information for you to receive their information. But I think with the pro feature, you might be able to get, their information right away. I don't know.
Okay.
I
Very
was gonna
cool.
say, so now do you have my info or no?
Not unless you fill out the thing, I think, sending it to me.
Oh, that's right. You have,
So like,
Okay, so the exchange contacts.
yeah, if you
Yeah.
exchange with me, then I think I get it.
and that's good to have. I don't know.
But
but-
there's a couple cards that, there's some that are better that'll actually give it to you right.
So we're gonna be talking about prospecting versus marketing. Does anyone have any idea what prospecting is? What do you think that is, just based on the word?
What we were like just talking about,
Say it again.
what we were just talking about,
What we were just talking about, like reaching out to
going
people.
out like different ways to
Mhm.
at the store or.
Okay, so it's a little more like direct. You're kind of like directly doing activity to bring in, and you're prospecting out your clientele through all these different activities. Now, marketing, can someone give me an example, like what does that mean by marketing your business?
Flyers.
Like putting yourself out there and hoping someone will capture it, like grab it. It's not as direct as prospecting, but we're gonna dive into this now. Who would like to read this?
Lead generation is a contact sport with simple rules. It means making contact with people through prospecting and marketing.
Right, so now we're gonna dig into some real specifics about that. Because there, you have to follow some system in order to get results. You cannot capture leads just one way. Kind of a typical rule of business when you start a business, you have to know that you're, in order to grow your business, you have to look at every possible angle of how to reach people. Back before social media, I had a business and I found it was expensive to advertise at that time. So you had to figure out how to do that if you didn't have much of a budget. And I remember I was new in the community, so I did a lot of outreach in the community where I was physically in the community marketing myself. And then, and I'll tell you all the truth, I had a dance studio and I had no students. I went into an area that I didn't really know very many people. And this is back when Virginia Center Commons was a thing. There was a mall that would, people would hang out. I asked them if I could have a little spot, and I literally went into the mall and I tap danced and introduced myself and walked around the whole mall with my top hat, my cards, and just
Oh, cute.
entertaining everybody in the food court. And I'm telling you, I captured probably 30 students through that activity. And that's a lot for, just doing something like that. It's kind of crazy, but that was a form of marketing that I chose to do. And then on top of that, I did a flyer campaign where I did flyers in neighborhoods every 6 months. And I did that consistently. And I built my business up to 600 students, and it went from 0 to 600 through those methods. So they work. I swear by it. But now with the wonderful use of social media and the internet, you don't have to pay much money to do a lot of your prospecting. And then also our systems that we have in place. So we're going to kind of jump into that. So in real estate, we have kind of this timeline, and this timeline has shifted a little bit. And I think due to COVID, there's been more moving because people are, well, at least during COVID, they were able to work remotely, which provided people the liberty to move where they want to, move and live where they want to live. So and there are many people I know, I've placed a lot of people in Richmond who work from home and work for a company in a completely different city. So this has been kind of the pattern of home buying and selling. So when you get a client, that would be at the top of the curve. And that would be your capture. You got them in their first home. Well, then they're in their home, and they say 7 to 10 years. But I would even shorten that to maybe 5 to 7 years, depending on, especially with the housing market the way it is, the starting price of a home is so expensive. And, there are a lot of young people that are buying homes that they don't necessarily want for very long. Mm-hmm. And so they're using it as their gateway to get that home they want that they can't afford. So you can even shorten that amount with your first time home buyers. But you want to keep them in your sphere, and you want to stay in front of them during that entire time. So then when they go to make their move, you've got their sale and you've got them to buy unless they relocate, but you still have a sale. So kind of keeping that pattern in mind, that's a good way to look at how your pipeline is going to be filled as you gain more clients. So that's a very important piece of that you want to remember. So if you look at this triangle kind of explains pretty well. I'm a visual, so I kind of like this. The bottom part is the weighted part. That's you can't turn that triangle upside down. It would not stand, right? So you can't just do marketing without prospecting. You have to do your prospecting. Prospecting is time sensitive, which means if you're seeking out a client and you make a contact, you gotta get back on that right away. You cannot let that hang out for a month or two because you'll lose them. Being proactive, meaning you're not waiting for them to come to you, you're actually going to them, right? And then immediate results. You want to get that result. So for example, I'm prospecting clients at, say I'm going to a big event and I decided to have my cards with me and I'm approaching people. So if I approach someone and I tell them I'm in real estate and they're talking to me about their situation, if you can, set up an appointment with them, set up a time where you can meet with them, get their information, ask if you can contact them, like go that next step. So then you're getting that immediate result. So then with marketing, you want to add that layer because it's going to actually give you the longevity you need in your career, the long-term results, and it's passive, meaning you're putting yourself out there and you're kind of passively saying, hey, I'm in real estate, and people, believe it or not, if they see your sign in a neighborhood over and over and over again, that's your neighborhood. That can bring in more clients just by having a sign in the neighborhood. And you know, like if you do have a listing and you have your for sale sign out there, leave that sign up as long as you can, get it up there in coming soon if you can, you know, and then after the sale, maybe ask the clients if you can leave the sold sign up there for an additional month. They might be open to that. And that way you've got that kind of visual that neighbors see, oh, they sold their house in like, gosh, in a week, that just came up on the market. So it's just a great tool to remember. Okay, so why do you think, I'm going to ask this question and let you guys kind of have a discussion about it. Why do you think it's more important to be prospect-based versus marketing-based?
I think kind of like the example that Maria gives about like different firms like EXP or whatever the online ones are, and how important it is to actually get that relationship with people face to face rather than just being like an online source.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dylan?
I would say, just like I said right there, being proactive rather than reactive, with social media marketing or anything, marketing in itself, yeah, it is in a way proactive, but we need to look for leads rather than wait for them to come to us. So prospecting, that's how we're gonna do that.
Mm-hmm. So prospecting basically is free. And that's really important as you build your business. You want to use as many free avenues as you can to build your business because you haven't built that bank account to support what it takes to market. So marketing costs money and it is passive. So if you feel like you've got a chunk of money that you can throw into marketing right up front, you may not see that, you may not get that money back for a really long time. Prospecting is going to actually build that business faster and quicker and more, you know, with less investment. And it's really smart to do that. We really all try to encourage, and I was happy they encouraged me not to put money into some of these things. You'll get bombarded with marketing websites, and I don't know how many of you have gotten that already on your email or once you're out there and everybody finds you and they'll offer you coaching, they'll offer you marketing plans, they'll offer you get business, you know, build your database to this and reach this many people with my plan. Don't do it. Don't fall into it. And also those lead generation sites where it says, well, you can get so many leads through buying this lead program. Don't do it. Use prospecting as your tool, because that is going to be the way you'll build your business. And it makes more sense because it's you marketing, getting out there and being yourself, gaining those clients. All right. So in the last two sessions, we talked about prospecting and getting lead generation through open houses and social media. That's also a prospecting tool. So you want to remember, open houses is a really great way to create that prospecting where you meet the people, you follow up after the open house, get them in your database, you put them on a smart plan, and then they will think of you first if they don't have an agent because you stayed in front of them the whole time. All right, there we go. All right, so here are some examples of prospecting. So you can do this on the phone, or you can do it face to face. Some of you might be more comfortable on the phone. Some of you might be more comfortable face to face and really avoid the phone. I am one of those people, but I know some people have incredible success from the phone. I think using both is really important. Anybody know how you can get a FSBO? A FSBO is for sale by owner.
Just look on MLS for sale by owner, right?
You can look on,
And-
well,
Or Zillow, sorry.
you can look on Zillow. What's another way to find a FSBO? Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. There is a for sale by owner internet thread that you can find where they have, they have an opportunity to share that. So say you're driving down the street and you see a for sale sign that doesn't have any brokerage. What do you think would be a great way to maybe capture that? What would be the first thing you'd want to do? Anybody can pipe in online too. Say it real loud.
Knock on the door.
Knock on the door. Now, what if you feel really uncomfortable with that?
Look up the tax.
You can look them up. You can look them up by the tax records, by the address. Then, okay, so here you go. So if you're not comfortable approaching a house, and you have to really gauge that based on your comfort level of safety. But if you have someone with you, and say it's in a neighborhood where you have a listing and then there's a for sale by owner, definitely you want to go to that for sale by owner and say, hey, I can run a marketing analysis on your house and we can find out, what are you selling it for? Get some information, because they're going to think they can get the most out of that house by not hiring an agent. But what's the one value you can bring that FSBO that they don't have? Data. What's another? Marketing. MLS. And what does that MLS do?
Exposure.
Exposure. And who is it exposing you to?
Qualified buyer.
Keep going.
Any potential buyers who are interested or looking.
But buyers can't get in the MLS. Who's in the MLS?
Oh, well.
Agents. What are
That's the
agents
point.
looking for?
Houses.
Houses. It's the perfect way to say, you know what? You're getting in front of people who drive by your house. Is that enough to bring a buyer? I have a way for you to get buyers from the entire region of Richmond. And we are a network that's nationwide, international. Keller Williams. Our outreach of potential buyers for your house is huge. Would that interest you? They might be like, oh, so, and the market says that your house may be more valuable than what you think. And we can talk about how we can bring value to your house. Giving them that information brings value to their situation, which makes you look like, oh, well, that person knows what they're talking about. And I really am not sure what to do when I get a buyer. how to manage it, and, and they might be paying a fortune to an attorney to do all that for them. That ends up costing them almost as much as, say, having you help them with your commission. So FSBOs are good. I mean, I've seen a lot of them. I have not done the work with them personally, and I'm planning to. That's my next phase. But I will say one of our agents, Danielle Taylor, her first client was a FSBO because it was next door to an open house that she hosted for another agent. And she went and knocked on their door and asked them if they had an agent. And she got their listing, and that was her first sale. So it is, that was really awesome that happened. And that's not always that simple or easy. It's not that fortunate to have someone right next door to an open house, but still an awesome way to get that. Expired listings. All right, how many of you have seen expired on the MLS many times? Can anyone tell me what expired means?
Contract expired with the agent?
Say it again,
So
Kelly.
the contract expired with the agent?
The contract expired with the agent. So that gives you some information, right? And you can also see how long it was on the market. So if that house expired, most agents would not do their expiration date within a 30-day period. That would make no sense to do that. So that house has been on the market for a decent amount of time. So there's a couple things that may have happened. One, maybe that expired was just not ready to sell. It wasn't staged correctly. It wasn't presented correctly, or it wasn't priced correctly. There was some flaw in that process for it not to move. And the market changes all the time. So maybe the agent started with one market and just kind of let it stay on the market and not have any movement. So that client is now available to anyone. So that's a great way to kind of reach out, and you want to do that in a way where, you want to know, I see that you have your house on the market. Did you choose to not sell your house, or, what's your plan? Get some information before you jump in, and then you can talk to them about what you think their house is worth now and ways that you would bring value to their house. So expires are good, and they're right there at your fingertips in the MLS. And then you want to also be very careful that they're not still working with an agent, because that means it expired with that agent. So they're no longer in a contract with them, but they may want to have them in their back pocket for the future. So just be sensitive to that, but also it's an opportunity. All right, so circle prospecting. We've got 4 right here: neighborhoods, apartment complexes, recently sold listings, recently listed properties. So these are great ways to just get yourself out there and kind of keep business rolling. Would anybody like to add another way to circle prospect? You got any ideas? Did this happen all out? What is apartment complexes? What would you do with that? Say it nice and loud.
Convert renters to buyers.
Converting renters to buyers. Think about all those apartment complexes in Scott's Addition. How much rent are they paying in those apartments? A mortgage payment, right? Who could afford that? People who are employed, decent income, probably can qualify, but they're just either, for some reason, they chose to rent. It could be that they don't know if they're going to stay in Richmond. It could mean that they are not sure about the market. They don't want to jump in until they know for sure, but they may not know what neighborhood they want to live in. There's a list of reasons why they're renting that apartment. It's a good opportunity to go to that apartment, and you could even ask the apartment if you could put flyers out circulate flyers out for them. You want to get permission for something like that, because a lot of them say no soliciting. But you can also get the address and go to the apartment complex and get some addresses and start sending information out to the apartment complexes. So the renting conversion is, I know for personal fact, I've done it several times and it does work. And it may take some time, but there are a lot of renters that are looking to buy. And then recently sold listings. What do you think what does that involve? What does that mean? So if you had so go ahead, Alexis. Yeah, so like I said earlier, you had a listing in a neighborhood and you sold that house. It's an opportunity for you to actually prospect the neighborhood because they already see your name in front of them. They see that you successfully sold their house. Neighbors are always curious to know what their house is worth. And they always want to know how much that house is. I've had open houses where neighbors come in and they go, wow, I can't believe this house is worth this much. That's exciting. Maybe my equity is bigger than I thought. Good opportunity to jump in and say, well, you want to talk about it, So kind of working that angle is a really great way to build your business. Community outreach. That's a really great, it's just a great way to put yourself out there in a positive light. Have any of you, I know some of you have used community outreach as a way to meet people and expose your business to people. But anybody online want to share if they've had any positive experiences with community outreach? All right, well, I'll give you another opportunity. Volunteer work. So I think those two, to me, the charity and volunteer work, they're two-handed. It's like, it's a great way to meet people, to get yourself out there. And it shows the authentic person you are, that you're giving to the community. That's super important. And it's not just using that as a tool. It's also knowing that you actually are providing something of service to the community. And so it puts you in that framework. And I think that's what's nice about it is if you keep your mindset on helping and serving and then letting people know you're in real estate, that's going to go a long ways. It's going to bring people to you because they'll say, oh, I loved how she was so, she just poured her heart into that charity, that we were working with, whether it's I can't think, like a food bank or, yeah, thank you. Anything like that. Like those are great ways to put yourself in front of people and showing who you are as a person. Key relationships. So we talked about relationships through golfing, through Girl Scouts. If you have a job that you're doing right now to help support you, perfect opportunity. It's not soliciting, it's just talking to people about what you're doing outside of work. Builders. How many of you think a builder might refer you if you go up and meet them and bring them value? There are builders out there that need agents to help sell their properties. Banks, mortgage lenders. I got a referral from a mortgage lender that I'm about to close on Friday, if all goes well. Fingers and toes are all crossed. But if you build a good relationship with a mortgage broker, they'll then get somebody that comes to them that doesn't have an agent, and they've got to find an agent. So that's a great way to build your business. Third-party data companies, I don't know. I'm not sure what I think about that. I don't. But it's an option. Investors, yeah. you will start hearing from investors being in real estate. You want to be careful that you don't just jump with someone that you don't know. But there are a lot of investors out there. I would start with your sphere and find people within your sphere that you know that may be interested in investing. It's a great way to build your wealth. And if you have friends who you know have, they own a house, they make a good living, and they might be someone who would be interested in buying another house to rent, as an option. That's happening more and more. I feel like it's becoming more of a thing. Teaching and speaking opportunities. If you have a chance to do say your child's school needs someone to come in for career day, wouldn't that be a great opportunity? Now you're getting in front of the kids, but you can give them a fun little promo with your card, something take home, and then you've got a parent there. PTA meeting, great way to introduce yourself. If they want somebody from the community to come in or do something along those lines with the school, or even having an opportunity to speak at a one of the clubs that they might have. There's always opportunities out there. People are always looking for special guests to come in and talk about an industry. So door-to-door canvassing, we talk a lot about that. Just going door to door and handing out your information. And then the networking and booths and kiosks, those are, those can be a little tricky because you have to pay for those. So you may want to find smaller events that don't charge you to have a booth, or maybe it's $25. I don't know if that exists anywhere anymore. I know back in the day, like a little festival in a community, you could do that. All right, so now marketing is a whole different world. So if you look at this list, you notice radio, TV, those are expensive. You have to pay for that, right? You're getting your name out to a lot of people, a lot of listeners. TV is like a huge, huge marketing tool, but wouldn't that cost a fortune? And you don't have that. So that's something that you would not consider at this point, unless you had an opportunity to be on TV for free and talk about your business as a real estate agent. But yeah, these are all indirect ways to get your name out there. They have all these things you can do, like you can buy an ad for a grocery cart. I've seen that. I think the menus are kind of cool. I know that they have at it's that I'm so lost for words on these. Remember Vortex? Is it Vortex in the West End? Vortex. Thank you. Vortex has a menu where people buy ads, and they also have things on the walls, sponsorships. And I mean, there's so many people that go in there. I always notice it. It's like, oh, cool. And there's a big, huge sign in there for one of the real estate agents out there. But yeah, these are all different ways that you can do advertising and marketing, but it's all kind of more of an indirect, open way. Of course, social media is probably your best bet. And the pay per click advertising, you've probably seen that on your business page. Be careful, just know, like if there's something you really want to get out there, you can try it, but I would limit that cost to maybe $25 and see what it gets you. All right. And then direct mail. How many of you have done direct mail? Has anybody done a postcard? Yeah. Has it worked for you? No. So have you done it once?
Right. No, I've heard that you have to do like 6 to 12 months of the same farm.
Right. Yeah. So those are all, they're all great ideas, but it's definitely something you want to kind of slowly work your way into. All right. So we just mentioned farming. You have two different ways to farm. You can farm the area. So you can find a neighborhood that you want to actually get your name out to. It may be your own neighborhood, which is a great way to start. Or you might want to go for demographic where you know that there's a lot of people your age group that live in that area, so you're going to target that. And you can also get that information from some of those mailing groups where you can target a zip code or you can target an age group. Events, always a great way to get your name out there. I know Pointy just did an event in her neighborhood and she created some little goodie bags and things, and she got a couple potential clients from that. So it definitely is a great way to market yourself. And networking, we all know networking works. Just getting yourself out there to as many opportunities to meet people. And then you can purchase things. I would put that at the last option of your business right now. Try to find as many free or very inexpensive ways to market. All right. Anybody have any ahas about prospecting and marketing that you want to share? Anything that's worked for you? Anybody?
Networking has worked for me a lot.
So how do you network?
With agents in our office,
Oh.
posting open houses for them, and then in return is led to referrals.
So if y'all didn't hear that online, Alexa said networking within the brokerage. That's a great way to gain opportunities. Because if you're not in the office and you don't know some of the agents here, they're not going to have you in the forefront of their mind. They're not even going to know you, so they're not going to ask you to host an open house. They might ask you to, I've had an agent actually ask me to represent a buyer because they had a buyer that was looking at their own listing, and I got a sale from that, and I gave them a referral fee, but I got a sale just by being in here and putting myself in front of other agents. Is a great way to do that. Any other ahas? Anybody online want to share an aha? I know somebody wants to. Come on. Shanae?
I'd say Facebook groups,
Facebook groups.
join some military groups.
That's good. There are a lot of Facebook groups. I've joined some of the real estate Facebook groups that are just either, there's one that's RVAs, homes for sale. There's Virginia marketplace. There's various things you can find through real estate, and using your hashtags too. I know y'all talked about social media in the last session. All right, so how are we doing? Everybody good? Yeah, you need to stretch? Need to do anything like stand up, sit down? All right. All right, I know, this is a lot of material. I have to move fast because we got 2 sections. So, the gold mine of referrals. Have any of you had the opportunity to get a referral at this point? Alexis? An agent referral? Can you tell me more about what that's like?
So kind of like what you said, for her listing, she had people calling directly, to give the links to her buyers.
So the same situation, you got yourself in front of an agent and you were able to get a referral. So referrals are really helpful. And if you do know people out of state and they're friends with you on social media, great way to stay in touch with people that live in other places. Let them know you are a Keller Williams agent and there are Keller Williams agents in their region. If they are looking to buy or sell, you can direct them to an agent. And then reach out to an agent in that area where you know people and get to know that agent. So then you can be their person on either side. Like if their clients decide to move to your town, building that kind of relationship is super, super helpful. All right, so we're gonna keep on moving. All right, so you're always, these are just a given, you're always providing value. You want to share your KW app. How many of you are all of you signed up on KW app? All right, you want to get that set up. when you get your license and get everything, have you gotten everything in?
I still always.
You sort of. It's gonna be like 4 days.
The day she.
What's that about?
It's turning the month, no?
Yeah, so sharing your app. People don't always sign up for it, but just getting it out there is helpful. I have a QR code on my card that they can actually access my app that way. And, that's helpful. Ask for referrals, ask other agents for referrals. Agents you haven't met before, maybe reach out to agents in Northern Virginia. There's a lot of movement going between here and Northern Virginia. Reward for referrals. You maybe send a gift card to an agent who gave you a really good referral. I mean, that goes a long ways. And, send them a thank you card, thanking them for the opportunity to have a referral. Oh, and there we are, agent to agent referral. So just looking at these different options, you're maintaining your referral by staying in front of them and keeping that relationship building. And you're growing a relationship with them. And by growing that relationship, you're growing your sphere of people. Because you think about getting a partnering agent in a neighboring town in Virginia, say in the Virginia Beach area, if you're in a different MLS, that would be a great way to move back and forth and refer back and forth. Because you may have a client here in Richmond that just wants to buy in Virginia Beach, but you're not in their MLS. You don't want to travel that far all the time. So find an agent down there that you can work with. And then managing that, you want to put them in your command and have them in there to contact them and keep them in your sphere and reach out to them through command. All right. So let's see. And of course, this is your referral network, but our network is huge. Keller Williams network is what? International, anywhere. I mean, honestly, and you'd be surprised. There are people that are actually moving overseas. And you can reach out, say, I know people who always tell me, oh, I want to move to Costa Rica. Well, the minute they say that, I'm going to find me a KW agent, because I know they have KW agents in Costa Rica. So yeah, just knowing that we are in 50 regions plus, 50 plus regions, including the US and Canada. So that's pretty amazing. I mean, to think about how wide our scope is, it just puts us so far ahead of the game. Yeah, so, okay. So business to business referrals. Now, this is a good opportunity for you to actually, if you frequent a business, you want to let them know you're an agent, because they're going to know you. And when they hear a client is looking to buy or sell, you're going to be the first one they remember. So think about like your different, we'll go back to that. Think about the different businesses where you can actually create that. Does anyone have an example of a business that you think would be a great opportunity?
Well, I did have a run-in like last week. We were eating at a Mexican restaurant in Colonial Heights. And we were there to check out my boyfriend. He's always promoting me. It's like, oh, my girlfriend, she sells real estate. Are you looking? And
That's awesome.
Okay. So we ended up talking to the owner. He was checking us out. And when he said that, he's like, oh yeah, I'm looking to buy right now. He's like, he has a home that he wants to sell. So he gave me his number, and it's kind of a business because he owns that business. So
Yeah. That's great.
yeah.
So you actually got the business owner. But
Yeah.
yeah, well, that's great. So that's restaurants are always a great opportunity. I know Alexis works at a restaurant. So even if you're in a job where you're doing something else, you can find a way to squeeze in the conversation that you're in real estate. And, it can be kind of passive. Of course, you have to make sure you're not overstepping your employer, but that's definitely a good opportunity. how many of you go to a place on a regular basis? There's a couple places that I know people usually do regularly.
Starbucks.
What?
Starbucks.
Starbucks? What about a gym? Anybody go to the gym regularly? I did. The plan is to go back, but, yeah, the gym, it's a great place to interact with someone and then let them know you're in real estate, and you'd be amazed at the things you'll find out. Okay, girls, what about nails? How many of you get your nails done?
That's true.
Nail salons?
I'm always-
Yeah, nails, I mean, and I know I go to one that I've been going to religiously for 3 years, or, 4 years. So I know all the girls, and they all know I'm in real estate. And many of them now ask me, about it, or say, oh, I was thinking about maybe selling, so that's a great opportunity. Going to your hair salon, having a person who does your hair regularly, that person will, if they like you, you may be top on their list. Maybe ask them if you can put business cards out on their counter, and share your business cards. Or if you have a little flyer or an event coming up, see if you can promote that in their business. So businesses are always helpful. Small businesses are the best because they want to promote you because they know you're going to promote them. So it's always a win-win. Auto repair shops, any of your vendors, any vendors that you may know, get to know those vendors, and, handyman, plumbers, electricians, get them on your list. Melissa does an event that was just brilliant marketing. She hosted an event for her vendors, and I went to it. It was really fun. And she had a lot of vendors there, and they all got to kind of exchange things, and she invited agents. And it just put her vendors out in front of an audience, and a great way to feature what they had. And I know the return for her was really positive, because now she's going to be their agent that's going to be preferred because she takes care of them. So those are really great ways to market in a way that's helping other businesses as well. So let's see. So I'm going to give you all a little exercise to do before we take a break. I'm going to give you all a break. That would be nice, wouldn't it? I want you to turn to a neighbor, and then people online, if you can just write down some ideas, find someone in this group, talk about businesses where you think you can meet and make connections. All right, so you two can talk, and you three can talk about it, and I'll give you just a minute and see how many you can come up with.
Yeah.
All right.
So you gotta get one. That's, I interrupt someone mid-set, they're not gonna have. I'll do that. It's okay, that's a teacher.
Right. I've always considered, like, I live close to Green Top. That's like a famous, very popular, like, outdoors job. It's like a Bellows there. There's a Bass Pro, so there's a lot of like that, area a lot.
Nice, that'd be.
Yeah.
I just did this.
Yeah.
Was it great? Yeah, I wanted to think that,
Yeah.
but so in that area, they like the church. Yeah, when it's busy, so unrelated.
All right, those of you online, if you guys want to maybe come up with a list of 5 businesses that you can share, up to 5, that, and maybe they're experiences you've already had, but yeah, I'm going to ask y'all to share it. If you don't mind. Thank you.
Right, so they put it on their calendar. And then someone in.
All right, y'all, one more minute.
I shouldn't write it.
Yeah.
It's like a.
Nope, that's good. Right? I was gonna say. one person buying the car.
Right.
and like,
Oh,
oh.
I've been going to the box, so they should.
I'm hearing all kinds of really good ideas. I heard.
I go to the library.
Huh? All right, guys, we're gonna now share. I'm gonna let the people online who may have some ideas to share if they don't mind. Let's start with Shanae. Do you have any new businesses ideas that you'd like to share?
Shanae or Shaw?
A nail shop, yes.
Okay.
Nail
That's
shop, we talked about nail, yeah, it's a great opportunity because there's always a whole bunch of nail techs there. And there's people actually getting their nails done that end up talking to you. That's, and you can meet. Yeah, comment on their colors, yeah.
young agents that have little kids at the daycare place or the school is another best opportunity.
Yeah, thank you. That's schools and opportunity, any kind of interaction with your kids. That's always a great audience. All right, so I'm gonna let this group over here, Alexis and Cheyenne, give me your.
Well, this weekend I did a raffle ticket, like a $50 gift card. It was really good. And I talked to the business owner and they let me leave my flyer there. And I told them to like send them over. So the requirement was like they ended up at the coffee shop to come to the open house to get a ticket so they can, tour the home. So that's how I got them to come there. And then yeah, and then they reposted me on their page too. So they have like a lot of traction to my page.
Yay, excellent. All right, that deserves a round of applause. Oh, come on. That's awesome. So the ticket, was that for a discount on coffee or?
I
was-
get a $50 gift card.
Oh, so it was a raffle.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
And
Oh,
then the girl who won, she doesn't have an agent, her and her husband are renting and they're looking to buy. So that was another connect that we made, cause she was like interested too, but she's like, she's not ready. So I was like I said, you were like my lender and was just trying to, get her. I was like, well, you should start now. And then she ended up winning. And,
oh, that's great.
yeah,
Oh,
so-
yeah. So maybe send her a congratulations card
yeah.
and, just say, and just kind
She's
of,
like, I never win anything. She messaged me. She's like, I never win anything.
that's awesome. That is a brilliant idea. I loved it. I mean, this was in Churchill
Yep, in church.
and it was a good
The
listing.
Riverbend.
You got to show for the record team, right?
And so was the coffee shop like
Right there.
walking? Oh, I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah, and
So cute.
Churchill's a great neighborhood to do something like, I mean, there are lots of neighborhoods like that, but finding a local business where people literally go there every day. Great, smart, brilliant idea. Bravo. That's
Peggy.
awesome. And you made connections, right?
Yeah.
All right, any other
I'm
ideas,
sorry,
guys?
Peggy. Could you have
Yeah.
her describe that again? I couldn't actually hear exactly how she did and what she did.
Sure, I'm gonna give her the microphone and tell.
Hi, everyone online. So basically I did a raffle ticket, and I had an open house in Churchill. And it was like a big open house and they ended up putting me on it because I've been building a relationship with the record team. And, so I was trying to think of different things to do to like make myself stand out. And then I did a raffle with the Riverbend coffee shop that's like walking distance from the open house. And, talked to the owner. And they let me leave my flyer there, my business cards, and they repost me on Instagram. So that brought a lot of traction to my page. I'm almost at like 80 followers on my new page.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
and
How many did you
Yeah.
get from that? How many added
like people,
from that event?
like 9 or 10, that actually was like, yeah, we're,
Oh, that's great.
yeah.
So they came to the open house. Is that how they were able to enter the raffle?
Yeah, so the requirement was to come to the open house and tour it. That's it.
So that was.
And
a-
then they get a ticket to go over and get something at the
So for
place
them
of
to get-
business.
For them to get into the raffle ticket, to get into the raffle, they have to come to the open house to pick up the ticket, sign in, of course, like a regular tour of open house, and then they get a ticket.
Okay.
Really, really awesome. Thank you.
And you just chose a winner from that.
Yeah,
So,
Great.
so that's an awesome opportunity to, number one, that's almost like farming a neighborhood. Because you're focusing on that neighborhood. It doesn't mean they're all gonna wanna look at that house, but it's putting you in front of that neighborhood. Yeah, so that's brilliant, and I appreciate you sharing that.
Did everyone who came to the open house enter, or just the people who
Well, some people
referenced?
didn't want to,
Right,
you know, but whoever wanted to, yeah,
So how many people did you have come to the open house, do you think?
I think 12,
12 groups or 12
yeah,
12 groups? That's great.
yeah.
That's awesome,
like 12.
especially right now, because open houses are kind of slow.
Yeah, and it was a
Um,
lot of people from the neighborhood,
Good.
yeah.
So then they could see what it was being
Yeah.
sold for.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's a win-win.
usually,
That's
who do you
great.
know, like, pick your neighbor, who do you wanna live
Yeah,
with? Who
yeah.
do you know that?
And
Right,
the guy
and-
come over, he's like, yeah, I'm just here because I saw your flyer. I was like, okay, cool.
And the layer on top of that, I'll add to it, was she got connected with Riverbend's Facebook page and then did kind of like a cross prospecting
Right.
situation where you put yourself on their page and that's gonna draw more people to your page.
Yeah.
Like they talked a lot about that at Family Reunion, about marketing through social media. And that was one really strong way to do it, is find businesses and get on their page and start circulating them, then share their page on your page, like doing that. Awesome. Anybody? Okay, let me get this group over here, what you guys came up with some different ideas.
The library,
Library,
yeah, it's something that,
yeah. So how would you do that in the library? I'm just curious.
I didn't think that far yet, but, honestly, I just talked to the librarian, hey, I'm just trying to put some of my materials around, or, I probably need to go talk to people trying to
So-
keep it quiet, but.
Okay, so putting your stuff out.
Marketing.
Well, most libraries have a community bulletin board. So put your stuff on a community bulletin board. Community bulletin boards are all over the place in coffee shops, bookstores, great way to get your name out there. And it's more of a passive marketing, but it's also kind of focusing in on a target group and maybe in a neighborhood. So, all right, anyone else online want to share one or two other ideas?
I just, my cleaners, I always leave my cards there and have conversation with those folks that I regularly, drop off clothes to get cleaned.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, anything you frequent regularly is a perfect business to really get your name out there. I wear my name tag a lot of times when I go in places that I go to regularly. So then they'll ask me, oh, you're a real estate agent? Oh, cool. And then that sparks a conversation. All right. So we're gonna just jump into real quick ahas, and then I'm gonna give y'all like a 5-minute break to go to the bathroom, get some water, whatever you need to do. And y'all online can stretch, just come back. So we got a whole bunch more to go over. Any ahas real quick on this?
Honestly, my aha was like, I liked her.
I know, Cheyenne gave us an aha, man,
That is
big
good.
time. That's awesome.
Definitely got potential clients out of doing that.
Where did you get that idea from?
I just.
Just came up with it?
Yeah.
That's great, that's great.
Just her.
It's really, yeah,
I've wanted to do it, but I was like, this is the perfect place to do it for sure.
yeah,
Because there's places all around.
yeah, that's
So-
awesome. Using businesses
Yeah.
for your
And
advantage.
then food places, like the 10 likes and the 10 comments and stuff, I
Mhm.
do it on like food places, because everybody eats.
Right,
So
right.
just making a little comment in the food, like, ooh, that looks great. And I
Right.
get, people were like, oh, someone messaged and say, oh, you do real estate. I'm like, yeah.
So just thinking, like, my aha right now is just thinking how you can blend your social media contacts with actual physical contact in the neighborhood. So then you're visible in the neighborhood, you've got tangible things they can grab, and you're on social media. So it's working together. Awesome. All right, y'all, I'm gonna give y'all let's come back at 10:20. That gives you about 7 minutes. Go potty, and then we're gonna jump into the next section really soon. All right. All right, guys online, we're gonna take about a 5-minute break or so, and I'll see y'all back there. Thanks for sharing so much. Appreciate it. Y'all get a lot of attention when you're silent. lot of opportunities.
That's fine. Oh, yeah, there's 5 names. They were just- I was late.
It's water, my goodness. Okay, I brought a water cup in here.
It's right there. So everything is.
I need to keep it.
Something like that.
Yeah, I've been, my wife and I will do it. Event for the kids in the neighborhood.
Okay.
You know, decent.
Oh, yeah, especially the parents. Anything, you could do something like that.
Yeah, I live in a smaller neighborhood, but it's very like close knit. Oh, yeah, that's another one, right. I just did some with like the teachers too, my kids' teachers.
I think you would do. Right.
That'd be sweet.
The one in Lake Chesson area,
Right.
they're all, it's like a golf.
Yeah. Are you down in the Chesterfield area? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool. That's a very popular area these days.
Oh, yeah. Make them look green too.
Yeah. That's a. They're apparently building a surf park out there, something like that, some sort of big.
A surf park?
Yeah, apparently.
That's
Yeah,
sweet.
I think they broke ground on this recently,
No way.
although I could be dated on that. Yeah, it's pretty cool. They have like, certain pools for like wakeboarding.
That's
Like
a
an actual
hot
surf,
spot.
yeah, actual surf, like a wave.
Near Chesson?
I think so. I think there's an area out there that they.
I'll be going to that.
Yeah, it's gonna be expensive, I'm sure, but.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, I'll give it a shot. It'll be fun.
Nonetheless, it'll be the first one in the area.
Absolutely.
You'll have hotels apparently there too. Shops.
Dude, they need to bring a Ritz over here.
Yeah.
Guys, how's school?
I didn't go back this year.
Oh, you
Yeah,
didn't?
no,
Oh,
I'm
I
taking a
thought you
year.
were going back.
No, I took a year off so I could focus on this. Yeah. Yeah, right. So I took a year off and
Oh.
I'll still be subbing. So I have to wait till October 1st to go back into Franklin County, but I have a handover as well, so I get to start next month. So, yeah, like my wife asked me last week, but I didn't have to go back. She's like, so how do you feel? I'm like, well, I feel great, so I don't have to like stand up and like have to present every single day, you know, it's exhausting, like a year.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I did close to a decade. of teaching,
And
so.
you teach elementary school.
Middle school.
Oh, middle
Eighth grade.
Oh.
Eighth grade.
Man,
Great.
you would deserve
Yeah, so.
Medal of Honor.
I was just wondering, just for the, I mean, for me, I wanted some more public speaking opportunities.
It was great for that.
But like that just builds.
Right, so like I like getting up in front of groups and kind of conversing, but like the prospect part of it, like that's the sales, you know, that's something I've never really done before. So like that's new and that's a new thing that I have to like kind of embark on.
I feel like he's
So-
great at some events, just
Appreciate it.
like, well, even just like hosting events, like, hey, this is what real estate is or whatever. Like,
Yeah, I think I'd like to see like somebody do like the investor side of it or like the, just, you know, like a bank presentation, you know what I mean, of just like getting a home loan and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And things like that.
I think, gathering the information that we get from our sales meetings and
Right.
like doing the research into the market. Because the lender brings the value of interest rates and the way to get a loan and all the different structures of a loan. What the agent brings is what the value is in the market and what the process of selling a house or buying a house that the client goes through. So you think of it as like the lender helps the client kind of on the back end, or the agent helps the client on the front end. So you're
It's
kind
an
of a
educational
visual.
piece.
Yeah, and so if you think of approaching all the prospecting with contribution and service and education and relationship, use those words instead of sales. Because that's really what it is.
Yeah.
And if you kind, because I think a lot of people are intimidated by the thought of sales.
Sure, it's a lot, yeah.
But just in general, sales are like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm not a salesperson.
But I'm looking at it more in the lens of it, it's, you're educating the public, you know, on that
Yeah.
matter and stuff. So,
Well, and coming from a teacher standpoint, you're gonna be able to have it as an education.
Right,
Way,
right.
it's not gonna come off sales.
now I'm actually looking forward to, I could actually work with other schools too now, you know, so I can actually go to stuff, different schools and kind of see people I used to.
Yeah.
work with, you know, and
That's an awesome opportunity
Yeah.
to other teachers.
I actually
Hey,
went. to my-
everybody, we're back. How was your break? Anybody got some coffee in their hand? I know Mindy does over here.
I know, frothed and everything.
I cannot drink coffee past
Oh,
now like 10 o'clock. If I drink coffee now, I will be like a complete jitter person until 2 in the morning. I don't know what it is. It's like, I start my day with coffee pretty early. And it kind of gives me a zap and then,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's funny. I used to drink it all day.
mm,
Not anymore. All right, guys, we are back. I'm waiting for my 2 girls, but I'm gonna jump ahead. I think they'll be here soon. Not sure where they went. All right, so we've got a lot to cover with this, so fortunately, we actually covered the next section that we were going into. And that's geographic farming. Cheyenne gave us a perfect example of geographic farming, using a business in the community to create interest in that community. That's really geographic farming, like in a very, it was a really clever way to do it, bringing people to your open house that way. I know that other agents will door knock with open houses and they'll go around and tell the neighbors that they're having an open house to prepare for traffic in the neighborhood and then invite them. And then you can give them information about what the price of the house is and if they want a market analysis. So those are ways you can actually get yourself in front of a neighborhood. Probably starting with your own neighborhood is a great way to start. Neighborhoods you're familiar with. Neighborhoods where you have a friend. Maybe you have a friend who lives in a neighborhood and they would be willing to go with you door knocking. And they can help introduce you, like think about ways you can connect through other, people who would be willing to help you.
Yeah.
Like, or a family member, like a sister who lives somewhere and you're like, I really would like to target that neighborhood.
I had a crazy one and it worked and it just dawned on me. So I had a listing in a neighborhood. Can they hear me? I had a listing and I was at a different brokerage and they said, my broker was like, I challenge you. She lived near the neighborhood and I didn't. So I wasn't trying about. She said, they're having a yard sale this weekend, a neighborhood yard sale. I challenge you to go to the yard sale and take a wagon and take like coffee. So I picked it up from like Dunkin', like a traveler type of coffee, right? A business meeting coffee. And and for the price of the thing, they give you cups, creamers, sugars, all the things. They give you everything, napkins, So I had a wagon and I brought my kids and they have money, like they're gonna buy stuff. And maybe they did buy a couple things, whatever. But, and she said, take like 51s and offer the homeowners change, like, hey, do y'all need change? I have a listing in the neighborhood. I'm out walking around, seeing if I can help anybody, And so I did have people ask for my card. Like they said, oh, we're thinking of selling, but not yet. Our daughter's a junior and we're going to, whatever. So created a ton of conversation. And I literally just walked up to every house that had a yard sale
That's awesome.
and offered them
Did
coffee.
y'all hear
They
that
thought I was
online?
crazy, but I'm like, hey, I have coffee, because it was, 8 AM.
Coffee is.
So Burnett, I think you'll like this one too.
Yes.
Did you hear what Mindy said?
She went around to, looks like
A
people that
yard
were
sale.
having yard
Yeah,
sales.
yard sales. So she brought coffee to a neighborhood yard sale and brought a bunch of ones and provided change for the people at the yard sale. Another way you could do that too,
That's
if
neat.
you're willing to give out $20 worth of ones.
Right.
Go to like, you know how when you take your kids to a yard sale, they always want to buy something. You ask the parents, say, here's $1 for your little one
Oh,
to
cute.
buy something, a toy or whatever. And I mean, just kind of giving them that, or it
Yeah.
does, I mean, you can get things for a quarter at a
Right.
yard sale.
When
It
I
can
was
even be a
more
quarter.
wanting to talk to the homeowners, not the shoppers, right? So,
Right.
but it's like if the homeowners, because everybody's buying
Oh, I see.
quarters and dollars and whatever, so if the homeowners have tens and twenties, I would swap out their 10 for 10 ones.
Oh,
I was
okay.
just swapping.
That's a great idea.
Yeah,
I
so
love
just
that.
have them change.
Yeah.
Is this a community yard sale where like a neighborhood has a whole bunch?
Yes, a bunch of people were out. And so I just walked around it and I was like, oh yeah, I have that listing over there. And they were all like, oh, has it been busy? What's it going for? And at that point, it already pended, but my sign's still up. So everybody's seeing my sign every day. And there's one way in the neighborhood and one way out. So they're seeing me
That's awesome.
constant.
And you
so I made
could
a ton
even
of
have
connections.
something set up like a lemonade stand, but it's a coffee
Yes, oh,
stand.
that would have been cute.
And you could do that in the
Whenever they come to
neighborhood.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just say free coffee. People will come to you like,
See,
Yeah.
I like stuff like that, like, I guess we call that,
that's geographic.
Yeah.
That's geographic farming.
um,
That's what you were talking about.
events and,
Yeah,
cause I wanna do like informational desk at like a fashion show or, stuff like that.
yeah.
Cause it's just easier that way. for me.
Well, in neighborhoods, in Richmond, there seems to be a lot of activity in neighborhoods, certain neighborhoods. They'll have like a neighborhood block party. I know that Ginner Park or Bellevue, one of those neighborhoods has a porch night where they all come out on the porch.
Porchella.
Porchella, yeah,
They have bands.
they have bands and stuff.
Oh my
And,
gosh.
but
that's
they have
amazing.
places, they have things like that in other places.
Yeah.
But that one is a big one, because I know people that
Yeah.
talk about it.
I know an agent that does his, what's that like? The police night out, community night out, the watch night or whatever,
Yeah,
and he has food trucks come. And I don't know if he picks up the tab or if he just tells them to come and then he'll give them I don't know what he does.
Yeah.
But he has them come and just makes a huge event of it and hands out swag, constantly handing out swag.
Yeah, well, yeah, so all of that, you figure, anything where you're marketing a neighborhood is geographic farming, where you're actually picking an area that you want to work in. Great way to start your own neighborhood events. And then, once you do that event and get yourself exposed a little bit, that could be a time to door knock because
Mhm.
you've already been in front of them in an event. So there's lots of ways to kind of strategize that where it's not just one time, but maybe follow it up with another way to get in front of them. So you could door knock in Churchill now.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially right there in that corridor, 27th, 28th.
Yeah, I did some when I was there.
Well, and then follow with a handwritten note, right?
Yeah, so we're gonna move on to events and seminars, and we'll just kind of work through this pretty quickly. But yeah, events are always good. They're not gonna always bring you direct clients, but it does put you in front of people and I feel like it gives you that credibility of like, oh, they're a legitimate business. They've got, got a goodie bag from them, and you could get in bulk little favors like a keychain or a little, my husband came up with this idea. I don't know if this is appropriate or not. I gotta think about it. But having little shot glasses and says, give me a shot at your
Oh,
real estate. I know. I was like,
No, it's cute.
"This is a little bit," I'm not sure, but depending on the neighborhood, like the
Yeah.
fan, that might be a really fun way to market the fan.
Yeah.
It's cheap. You can buy little plastic ones for nothing. Pens or, all different kinds of things you can find that you can get in bulk. or just cute little cards with some candy in a bag, or, depending on the time of year. Glitter, maybe not. Well, some parents hate glitter. I just read about a kindergarten teacher giving glitter to their students about using their glitter and putting it under their pillow for good luck.
Yes.
And I mean, can you imagine the response? Anyway, so no glitter. So yeah, events and seminars. Events are always fun. I think using a fun theme is more effective than it being a serious event. One of the top agents up in DC came here and talked and did a class on, I think it was kind of on marketing and like how she builds her business. And she did a Taylor Swift event, a Swiftie event for all the teenagers and kids, and bring the parents, and did a whole theme around that. And she had so many people at this event, and it was a way for her to promote her business. And I thought, what a great idea. Like, so not going with just the typical kind of dry, huh?
Right.
Yeah. But like first time home buyer seminars, you could do that in a brewery. Like go to a brewery, invite people to come to the brewery, maybe do, have a ticket for them to get, a taster, or, I mean, you could keep it on the cheap, or let people just buy that and you could have snacks. And then you could have a mortgage lender there, like just making it a more interesting event by having it in a place that might be more attractive to people.
And would you make that where it's more low key and you're not doing a seminar, but you're just mingling? Or would you do a seminar and give them information? Or is it up to them to talk to the lender and talk to the?
I personally think mingling and like doing one-on-one, but it depends on how many people come and what space you have. And they also have community rooms in certain places, like Churchill at the 25th Street Market, they have a community room there. And that's a great way to invite people to come to that because it's local. Libraries always have community rooms. You can use this location, bring them to the brokerage. So seminars probably would lend itself more to community groups, finding those avenues that look for speakers. All of these organizations that have monthly meetings, so many of them are always looking for something to fill their space with a business owner or someone, so, thinking about all those is really good. So pretty much leads are everywhere, right? It's kind of funny. It's a lot of effort when you're thinking about leads. You're thinking, how am I going to get people in front of me? I've met several people here who joined PC who were brand new to Richmond and said, I don't have anybody to put in my database because I don't know anybody. And this is something to always remember. Everyone does something every day where you're in front of people. So finding a way to follow that success system, talk to 10 people. Just find a way to mention to 10 people that you're in real estate. And so you can find it through, these are examples, but there's like multiple examples that we've already talked about. All right, so. Going to KW Cares. Okay, we all know what KW Cares is, right? Yeah. Just don't do that. Okay. Moving on. Any ahas on prospecting and marketing, and that, especially the specific ones we talked about, geographic marketing or seminars and events? Anybody have anything that kind of triggered their brain of like, oh, I might do that?
Well, I was talking with Todd, Todd called the lender to go on posts and set up a class to talk to military personnel, Army. And
Right.
basically giving them like more of like an informational class. So
Mhm.
it's like a good way to get a sign-in sheet going and then get, you know, you know. That's it,
Okay.
like doing a class on posts,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think that's great. And even, like, you can even do something online, like a webinar online. Get, get as many people in front of you as you can. It's not as personal, but it is one way to capture. Yeah, now Cheyenne is military, retired, right? She's the youngest retiree I've ever known in my life. But that has provided her an avenue of tapping into people that she's familiar with, that, you have something in common. That, what that's about, that whole world. So that's really helpful. So finding that, like Gus is a school teacher, taking a year off, congratulations. That's so great. But Gus has all those contacts through teaching. School teachers, there's always those grants available for teachers. You just got to really, tap into that whole opportunity, because, teachers don't get paid a whole bunch of money. So having that opportunity to help with their down payment, and that would be a great seminar to create for all your teacher friends. And maybe ask the PTA if you can come into the school and talk to the teachers, have a teacher night or something.
And they have that grant right now for teachers, and maybe for any Henrico County employee, right?
Yeah, so I mean, those opportunities that are familiar to you always help, because that's going to be your niche that you understand. So, all right, any ahas online? Anybody want to share anything that they've done or they think they're going to do now that they've learned a little bit more? All right, well, okay, I'll pipe in. All right, so move right into, let's see. Okay, so going into command. So part of your daily success system is adding contacts into command. So you want to make sure when you capture that lead that you do get them in your command. And that way you have them to circulate through smart plans, newsletters, and that makes it so much easier for you, and you have two different things. You have contacts and you have leads. But if you can find a way for those two to be together in command, then you can nurture all of it through command in a much more efficient way. So, and I will say, it can get a little daunting when you're in a place where you capture a number of leads. Then you have to take a little time, block time for yourself to put those leads in your command and tag them as a lead and tag them at where you met them. Put a tag saying yard sale event in Bellevue on date. I mean, dating it, labeling it in your tags is going to help tremendously. So then you can focus right in on that group when you're doing a smart plan. So integrating command with this is super, super important. Okay. Let's see. So your lead generation plan is connect with your sphere, build and feed your database, capture leads from open houses, build community with social media. We've done all that with Ignite, execute a referral strategy, choose a geographic area to focus on, and consider events and seminars. All right, so that's pretty much our first section that we're going to go over. We're going to jump into the next section. But I'm going to just skip over. We just did ahas. So with your ahas, focus in on this, because this is helpful for you to kind of process the information you're processing in your head right now. How has your thinking changed toward your business? So think about, and you can write this down if you want. Like before you got into real estate, were you aware of the things that you do to generate business? Generate leads? So has your thinking changed through this process? And then what do you feel differently about it? You know, like think about what that makes you feel like. I know for myself, I've never been a person that wanted to do sales. And I always was intimidated or felt like it was just not my personality. And that was my feeling was very negative toward that. My feeling was very much like that was the part of it that I was drawing back away from. And now that I've had some success with production, I feel completely differently about that. I mean, because it feels good when you close a deal and you're like, whoa, it's awesome. And it feels good when you have a client who reaches out to you and says, oh my gosh, I love this place where I live. Thank you. You know, so kind of keep checking in with yourself on that. And then with those behaviors being different, what actions will you take? So you kind of want to follow that pattern of how it changed what you think about it, how it makes you feel, and then take those actions and make that happen. And then figuring out the tools you need. So the tools you want to use would be tools that help promote your business, help promote you. It could be physical tools. It could be like some of the specifics we talked about, raffle, you know, different ideas to hone in on what you can do for that lead gen. All right, and of course, we always go over this in Ignite. This is I feel like this is a pretty big ask to do, but if you can make that a goal and get as close to that as you can, it will become a habit. And when it becomes a habit, you'll just integrate it into your life and it'll be easy peasy. So the 10 conversations, I can't tell you that I could keep track of the conversations I have, but I know that I'm out and about enough and I do enough around, I can have 10 conversations. And if I'm not, I get on the phone and have 10 conversations. 10 conversations can mean on online or through Messenger, you're reaching out to someone and having a conversation about something. Adding those contacts. You know, you did an event over the weekend, get that stuff in there as soon as you can. And, you know, and it does take some time. If you have 30 people, you may have to do 10 at a time, so you're not overwhelmed. The handwritten notes, I find that to be a real challenge because I don't always capture people's addresses, but you could also write a note. I've written email notes, I've written text notes. Handwritten notes mean a lot to people because people just don't get mail anymore, you know, it does go a long ways. So if you can capture their address, and then your 10-5-1 social media engagement. How many of you have been doing that?
And it works.
And it works, awesome.
What's the breakdown of 10-5-1?
So it's 10 likes, 5 comments, and 1 message. So say you've got a ton of friends that are, you know, posting stuff, just like agent stuff. I mean, that's a good way to kind of get your algorithm set. Like people's posts and find a variety. Like I always like posts that are inspirational, and I like a post that is funny. I like a post that is like marketing. You know, I think of like all the different ways I can spread myself out with all these different people in different areas. And then the 5 comments, making comments will also set you into a different algorithm and it'll pull that person into your forefront if you make comments. So you want to be careful. You don't want to make comments on something you don't want to be there. If it's that, you know, stay away from political stuff, stay away from controversy if you can. It just will not serve you. And I know it's hard sometimes. And even if it's a personal page, like I honestly, you know, and I know there's a lot of passion around all this going on, but try to steer clear because that does drive your social media. And then one outreach. So say you have someone online, you like their post, you commented, oh, you're renting. Oh, cool. You're in Richmond. So glad to have you. Then send them a message and say, hey, I'm in real estate. I've gotten several clients that way. just by doing that. So it does work, you're right. And it does create an algorithm that serves you. Okay. So, of course, the do not call, you know. And somebody asked online about where that is. So that, yeah, pay attention to that. Because I mean, there are lists that you can find, but sometimes the client will tell you, do not call me. Don't call them. Okay, who would like to read this?
I engage every conversation in the spirit of contribution and people are happy to be in a relationship.
Gus, read that again.
I engage in every conversation in the spirit of contribution and people are happy to be in a relationship.
So what does that tell you?
Or
So what you were saying, like, sales is not your comfort zone. So this is kind of the framework that you could turn that sales thing into, because it's really what it is. Because this is a relationship business. That was an aha for me getting into real estate.
Yeah.
And that was my thinking, feeling shift. Because now that I focus on this, it's so much easier. It really is, like, it takes all that stuff out that you are uncomfortable with. And then you present yourself in a way that people want to use you because they trust you right away, because they know you're not hungry for their business. Even though you might be hungry for their business, you just want to try and put that framework in your head, and it really helps. All right, so we're not going to do that because we do not have time. These are all the things that they love to do at night if we have 8 hours, but we don't. And we have celebrated some successes. I think we all know Cheyenne really knocked it out of the park. The yard sale thing is awesome. All right, so we're going to jump to section 10. This one is a little bit shorter. Yeah, this one is good though. Okay, give me a second. Yes. All right, how are we doing online? Are y'all following? I don't know if y'all have a book or if you're taking notes. Erica. Hi, I don't know if I met you, Erica.
We met the other day in the office.
Oh,
briefly.
okay, there you are. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good, welcome. It's nice to see you here. See, we got so Burnett online. Shanae, how are you doing? I haven't seen you in a while. She may not be in front of her camera. That's okay. I'll try to catch her if I can. I can't tell when they don't show the face. All right, so we're going to move on to section 10. We all are ready to roll. Let me pull this up on now. All right. So this is lead follow-up. Hold on. Oh, keep everything. I was like, wait a minute, that's not right. I had to scroll a little bit further. Keep every lead. Okay, so now we're going to talk about, we talked about generating leads in like capturing leads in any way we can. Super important. It's not as specific, but if you hone in on it, you'll find there's just multiple ways to get those leads. Now you have to actually keep them.
That's what I need help with.
That's the hard
I've
part.
heard we know this.
So I might need this to change. I don't
So
know.
it's a different slideshow.
It is. And I'm not sure where it is.
Yeah.
Ignite slideshows. Okay, hold on. Oh, my mouse. Bear with me, y'all. Okay, ignite
right there.
slideshows.
Right. Yeah, it's right next to it.
It's the right PowerPoint.
Oh, right here.
Yeah.
Haha, thank you. Y'all got better eyes than I do. Okay. Well, you got the big screen. All right. How do I expand this? Right here?
slideshow.
Where?
At the top, it says innovation slideshow, click slideshow.
Tell me where.
And
Oh, right there.
There you
then from the
go.
beginning,
Where?
far left, from the beginning, far left.
Ah,
Yeah.
thank you. Until I don't do the slideshows very often. Okay, yeah, now we're in, yay, thank you, everybody. It takes a village. Always. Okay, so I'm gonna breeze on past all those disclaimers that we all know. And now we're gonna be talking about. Yes, here we go. Lead follow-up. All right. So. Keeping every lead. How easy is that?
Not easy at all.
So are you gonna expect to keep every lead you get? No. So be realistic and know that you can try and do what you can, and that's gonna be strategic as well. So we wanna go through that. And let's move into, let's see. Oh. There we go. All right, what is lead follow-up? So can someone tell me what they think lead follow-up is? Like, what are some things that you can do to follow up with your leads? What are some examples?
Hey, thanks for coming out to the open house, text. And
Text?
if you need help, here to serve you. Type of deal, after the open house or something.
So reaching out now, what's another element to that reaching out part? Anybody? Okay, what if I met Alexis at an open house? And then 2 weeks later, I'm like, yeah, I should reach out to Alexis again. Do you think that's gonna be effective? No. Timing is the key. Immediately reach back out. Because they're, they've got you in their mind, but you're gonna be gone in, 30 minutes. And sometimes with an open house, you may wait until the open house is done. But even sit in your car and text the people that came and say, thank you for coming to the open house. It really does, the sooner you can get back to people, the better it will be. All right, so we already talked about this being the likelihood of when people move, so you want to make sure you keep track. And possible business would be everybody that's out there is possible, right? So you've got so many people to choose from. You think about, oh my gosh, there's so many agents in Richmond, but there's so many people in Richmond that don't have agents. Probable business. You're setting yourself for probable business if you meet them, introduce yourself, say you're an agent. Profitable business. What is going to make that profitable? Is what? Like getting them in an agreement, getting them active. So that's kind of the bigger hurdle. But it is possible, and it can happen a lot easier than you think. All right, so Gus, can you read that for me?
You aren't first or second in their mind, you probably won't get the business.
That's right. So,
Touches, right? Make sure that you're meeting with the prospect.
right, so you meet these people and you tell them you're a real estate agent. Well, you don't know if that person might go somewhere in 30 minutes and they run into an old friend who's a real estate agent. They're not going to remember you. They're going to think of them. But if you send them your contact information to them, or if you somehow got that information right there when you meet them, that's what's going to create that communication. So it is sometimes awkward. There's not always an opportunity for that, but finding the opportunities in that situation is really important.
Open houses, like, most of the times, they're going to multiple. So you gotta stand out.
Right,
you know,
exactly.
stand out.
Exactly. And part of that is value that you bring in that communication. You can thank them, but if you know that they were looking at Churchill, send them a market analysis of the housing in Churchill, or what, if it's a neighbor, send them what the market says their house might be worth, or the neighborhood average. There's lots of things you could send out of, MLS has a lot of information that talks about neighborhoods and how quickly things sell in those neighborhoods. Like, giving them value is really key. So we're gonna pass up on those ahas, gonna keep moving. All right, so let's see. So say you want to be strategic with your efforts in getting your leads. Your lead follow-up needs to be just as strategic as capturing the lead. And that's important that you want to make sure you find that. All right, so I'm gonna pass this. There's an activity that we can do, but I'm gonna keep going. I want to get to the meat of this stuff. Okay, so the fortune is in the follow-up mind share. So this is a really great way to structure follow-up. And Keller Williams, the backbone of Keller Williams is structure, like having a plan. And my words are escaping my brain. I'm sorry, but yeah, you want to follow these systems. Yeah, that's the word I want to say. Follow these systems. So this 19 to connect. So 4 touches quarterly. So you got them in your command. Put them on a smart plan. They have these already set up where it will remind you to contact these clients every quarter by phone call and remind them, hey, just checking to see how you're doing. Are you still thinking about buying? Then 12 touches. That means monthly you reach out to them, but it's through, say, an email, newsletter, report, video. Videos are great. People will watch a video. You can send them a quick video like, hey, this is Alexis, and I'm just reminding you that the interest rates have dropped, 25, not 25 points, point a quarter. Give them something to kind of hook them in. And then 2 touches would be like a farming mailer, something like that. Because that only needs to be every 6 months. They're going to just get another, it's expensive to do that. Just getting yourself out there, but being consistent, it's going to be something they'll recognize. Go, oh yeah, I remember seeing this last time. And make it interesting or bring value to that flyer and that mailer. And then 1 touch annually would be an event that you can do to kind of capture this same audience. So this is a smart plan. I looked it up. There's multiple smart plans. There's one that had a whole bunch of uses. Look for the ones that have the most uses because those are the ones that seem to be the most effective. And then you can design it toward yourself. 1 to cement. So high value touch that solidifies the relationship you have, just establishes and opens the door for future interactions. So it might be where you're in a place where you've got multiple people that you can capture. If you find one person who's like the lowest hanging fruit of that group, hone in. That might be your only capture that you get, but if you capture them, it's valuable because that capture will tell 7 people, 10 people about you, and then it will snowball from there. So don't miss that opportunity as well. And then, let's see. Let me hide this real quick. All right, 36 to convert. So this is also a smart plan you can do. 4 touches by the telephone, 26 touches bi-weekly. That's even more frequently than the 12. So every other week you're sending them something. And I would kind of make it a variety. I would change it up because if you have it the same thing every time, they're going to ignore it eventually. Oh yeah, I've seen this already. So maybe like the video is a good idea, or something, a splash announcement, like something that gives them like, catches their attention. 2 touches, 2 events per year. This is actually performing on a higher level, but this is going for the bigger audience. This is going for your contacts. So 2 touches a year, you can invite your whole contact list to a block party that you're having, or to, you decide to host a vendor party for your vendors, bring vendors in. Or just work with a builder, say, invite them to talk about building or anything. There's so many different ways you can do that. And then 4 touches is your quarterly mailers. So that's a higher level, but that actually, you're casting your net out to a higher audience. So if you cast out to your contacts, that level, then it's going to bring you this column over here. And, so these are really great methods. And honestly, it's so easy to get caught up in your day-to-day stuff you're doing for your business, that these kind of get lost. So if you set them up in a smart plan, then they won't get lost. Now, the challenge will be producing some of the information. So find a format that works for you, and you can then load it in the format, like what different things you want to put in there. Yeah, so that's just a really great method that will, in a system that does work. So this, we kind of focused in on that. You see the 19, if you add it all together, it's 19. I was like, that's, they use a lot of numbers and things like that, Keller Williams. And then lead follow-up best practices. So what are my strengths when working with people? How can I adapt the touches of 19 Connect to represent me? So that's what I was talking about. Ways to, those 19 touches that you're doing, really focus in on who you are as a person, how you want to stand out. Value is so important, but value comes in a lot of different shapes and sizes. Value can be information, value can be care, value can be like just who you are as a person, could be about the community, like people find value in all of that. So you want to really think that through. And then what are some reasons why I might have, what are some reasons I might have for contacting the lead? So how many of you are hesitant to reach out to someone that you haven't talked to in a while? Yeah, I raised my hand. Yeah, so think of the reason to call them. And it could be, and I know this is the hardest thing, it could be calling them and saying, hey, you know what, I was going through my contacts and I just, I was missing you and I haven't talked to you and I just wanted you to know I got into real estate, or I wonder what you're up to these days. Are they going to hang up on you? If they know you, probably not. If they say, oh, hey, oh, wow, Cheyenne, it's so good to hear from you. How you doing? Gosh, what are you up to these days? That's more than likely going to be the response. And if they don't want to talk to you, they say, thanks so much for calling, but I'm really busy right now. And then you get to say, oh, I understand. Great. Well, I just wanted to reach out and maybe we can talk another time and I'll do that. Like keep it on that level of friends, because you are friends. I mean, I have a lot of friends in my contacts that I don't ever talk to that are friends of mine in Richmond that I only see every once in a while. So.
Yeah, when I was going through my contacts, making all those phone calls, a lot of them only had first name and I didn't even know who they were. So I was like, I would just literally call them. I'm like, so I call them like, hey, is this whatever, Lauren? And they're like, yeah, I'm like, oh, this is Dylan. I was just going through my contact, or I'd say Dylan with blah, blah. And I was just going through my contacts, and I was seeing, are you still in Virginia or whatever? And then, go from there. And it worked for a couple of them, but I was like,
they respond?
Yeah, no, they all responded. I didn't get any bad reactions from all like 150 I called. So it was like,
Okay, so that leads us to how am I using conversations to let the person know I'm in real estate? There are scripts. Keller Williams has scripts for this that you can review. And I would not say those scripts verbatim because you want to really make it into your words. But it's a great structure to guide you into that because that is a very tricky thing. You know, I mean, people know, everyone's pretty savvy when it comes to knowing if you're talking real estate, you're in that zone, you're in that business zone, you're not in the friend zone. And people will know that. So to cross over those two zones, you want to approach it as an announcement instead of a solicitation. Think of it as an announcement and allow that person to give you information about them. The more you get from them, the more it will help you. So like digging more for on their end, letting them tell you their story. Boy, people love to talk. And they'll be so happy that you've asked how they're doing. So that's one good way to do it. And then when is it best for me and my business to time block for lead follow-up? Okay, so this is going to be one I'm going to present to you guys. What time block do you think would be the most valuable time block for your lead gen, for this part of reaching out to contacts?
6 p.m.
6 p.m. So most of the people in your contacts you think have 9 to 5 jobs or 8 to 5?
Yeah, most of mine is military. In my phone, so I would say like 6.
Okay,
I time block mine from 8 to 11. And now I got that,
8 to 11 in the morning. Okay,
and that, I got that from Chris, that's how he does it.
okay.
I
Does
mean,
he call at 8 or is he texting at 8?
he really does all day, like he does,
But I
he's
mean-
calling at 8, like here in the morning.
Oh.
sitting there calling. But also,
I thought it's a rule.
Seem like
I
he's
thought you couldn't call for 9
like,
a.m.
I see him always, he's always calling, he's always
yeah.
talking to people, so I'm like,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
guy has something right.
And Dylan, I really appreciate that because you're paying attention to people that are successful in their habits. I personally would be
Yeah.
mindful of anything before 9 o'clock and anything after, say, 7 or 8 o'clock. And I know for me, my time that I'm reaching out to people online is in the evening.
Yeah.
Because that's when I am able to sit down and focus on it. But there's a couple things that can happen. If you reach out to contacts, say 9 o'clock, and you have a conversation, that's going to open a door that they think they can contact you any time of the day. They can contact, I've had that happen to me many times where I capture a client and then I'm getting messages from them at 11:30 at night. Now they might have a weird work schedule. Find out from them what their work schedule is and ask them what is a good time within a parameter. Give yourself a parameter because I have to do that now because I have this one client. I haven't done any business with this client, but he keeps reaching out to me about investment property or whatever, and we haven't been able to find anything. But this guy will literally text me at midnight. And it's because he has this really weird work schedule. He goes to work at it's like an overnight work thing. And I just stopped responding at that hour. I waited till the next morning to respond. So being mindful of that and do that for yourself. Because you're setting a precedent for your clients, how you communicate. So blocking out that time in a time frame between hours that are considered reasonable hours. There are a lot of people that go to bed at 8 o'clock. I don't know how they do it, but they do. You do?
If I can.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like my body would not let me do
I
that, but
get
that's,
up at like 5 or 6 there, so.
yeah, I think I love getting up early, but yeah, think about your own lifestyle and the people in your age group, their lifestyle and what they might be open to. Then how much time should it take to reach out to a lead? What will I do to hold myself accountable? What do I need to do to make sure this happens? Does anyone have an accountability partner that they've created? Do it. Trust me. It makes all the difference in the world. Like you have me and Patrice as your coaches, and we'll check in and we'll be like, hey, how's that deal going? How's your business going? And you know, and the 411 is kind of your accountability. But having a person is huge. Now Pointy and I decided we're going to be each other's accountability partner. So I reached out to her and said, hey, I got 2 appointments this week because we made some goals. And then she's like, awesome. And then she reached out to me the next day and said, I got a listing appointment, I got this. And we're like, yeah. And so it was like this moment of celebration with each other going, yeah, we did it. We hit our goal for this week. And now it's like, now I feel accountable to do it again. So it does change your activity level. It changes how you function. So these are all good questions that you want to really go through and try to answer them in your own way that works for you. And that's going to lead you through these tasks that you're doing. All right, so 4 calls and conversations, connect with every lead quarterly. Y'all know the DTV2? Are y'all familiar with that? You can get that through Scott Leroy Marketing, and they'll set it up where they'll organize your contacts in a form of contacting a block of people every quarter. So you're not repeating the same people. Like you get these blocks where you can pace it out, and they'll give you like so many people in this block, and then you get so many people in another block. So then when you're doing your calls, you're not going, oh gosh, I can't remember if I called them or if I called them, you know, it organizes it for you.
And what's that called?
DTV2, and it's, I can't tell you what it's an acronym that I use.
Okay.
But it's a good system for setting up your calls on from your contact
And
list.
they'll set it up.
And
for you?
Scott Leroy will set it up for you. So you just contact them and they'll go into your contacts and they'll set that up. Yeah, very cool.
Do the database too.
Excuse me, say that again.
Do the database too.
Database 2. Oh,
The acronym.
oh, I got you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Burnett. See, I love having you here.
Easy
That
to
came
forget.
from bowl.
What?
That came from bowl. They tell you that during bowl.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm taking bold, so I'm excited. I'm going to have all kinds of knowledge on that. Okay. So, yeah, so just, that's a really good way to organize that. Email, newsletter, market report, video. You know, I'm really needing to do some catching up on my database where I don't have a lot of people's birthdays in there. If you pull things from Facebook, you're going to probably have their phone number, maybe, sometimes their email. And sometimes you can pull in birth dates on Facebook. And there is a way to do that. Scott Leroy Marketing, there, you have to follow the method to do it through them because there's a certain way you do it. It's not an easy peasy thing. But they can
don't
give
do
you.
it, but they tell you how to.
They may do it for you, but they can tell you how to do it. Or the guy, our own in-house man. Brandon, thank you. Promotional direct mail. That would be something, I know that some people put out a list of events that are happening in Richmond each month.
Yes.
And they put it on social media. You can send it in a postcard. If you have a lot of people in your database that you know are in the arts, you can send out an arts list, or you could do, you know, there's so many different things you can do to capture people's attention. And it doesn't have to have anything to do with real estate, but it's putting you out there with valuable information. And then an event like that. This one is a great example of organizing neighborhood park cleanup. It's a service event. But people, you know, people in their neighborhood might be all for, you know, let's clean up our streets.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, some of the city neighborhoods, that's a great effort to do because the city neighborhoods tend to get a lot of trash in the street. It's just tends to be the case. All right, so we have our value proposition, personal communication, and statistics and data. So these are all different ways you can bring value to your clients. You don't want to just lean on one. You want to use them all because it's going to really, the blend of these are going to help. Yeah, so. All right, lead follow up with communication. So now, talking about potential lead sources. So you have call in, community event, open house. I mean, we've already gone all over all this. Calls out, past client, purchase leads, client referral, sign in call, blogger newsletter. So things to think about, like that 1, 2, 3, that's what you really want to capture through this. Why are you thinking of buying and selling? So if you know that somebody is interested, ask them why, what their motivation is. That's going to give you a ton of information. And then tell me more. You're going to learn more about their motives and maybe circumstances. And that will give you more information of what you can do to help them. And then what will that do for you and your family? So there's a lot of buyers, a lot of home buyers out there that are very hesitant to buy. They're afraid of the market, the doomsday stuff they hear on the news about the real estate market. You got to really jump in and help them understand that this is a positive direction and I can help you through this process and bringing them value for that. And letting them know that it really, what that step will do for their family is super important, because you want to get to the, when you're in this business, it's emotional, it's feeling, it's having those connections. And that's really what drives this whole thing. And you're going to find in a couple that you talk to, one will be passionate about what house they want. The other one will be practical and say, well, we can't afford that. We can only afford this. So we're going to just be narrowed down to this, or we don't really need that type of use. You know, we can get away with that. And then the other person is like, oh no, I really want, you know, a couple trees in my backyard because I want to build a tree house for my kids. Or, you know, I mean, that's going to be more of a, you know, they may not need that, but they may want that, you know. So you want to really pay attention to those details when you're in this mode. Okay, so potential leads. Okay, moving on. All right, so any ahas from honing in on your capturing leads and follow up? How many of you are making phone calls as your follow up? Okay, how many of you are making text messages as your follow up? Any emails? Okay.
Ask them what is their preferred method of communication? Because some people say, oh, text and emails, or some they say a call. But I haven't heard this.
So I've heard that texting is way more effective than emails. I do think though, a phone call and an actual conversation is your most effective way to talk to people. There are, you know, you'll find even in the agent world, there are agents that will say, I prefer text. I'll text them, but I'll say in my text, hey, I've got a client who's interested in your property. Can I give you a call? Because I feel like a phone call goes way farther than a text message. And usually they're like, sure. So I kind of start with what they want. And then I say, invite a phone call. And then I've created a relationship. And then it actually makes that whole process so much better. Any other ahas? All right. I know we're about aha now, aren't we? All right. So post lead follow-up. So now when two-way communication is established, the lead becomes a contact in your database. So you can have leads all day, but if you don't actually get their information, they'll never be a contact, and they're just going to be a person that you met. And if you give them your card, you're going to hope that they might keep your card and call you. But the likelihood is very slim, because they are going to go with who's in front of them, the most. Move the person from 19 to connect to 36 to convert. So that 19 plan, that's your first plan to get people in your sphere, and then doing the 36 to convert, that's going to get you in front of them even more. And then you'll have your captive, I mean, people, believe it or not, if there are people that even have agents, but say 7 years goes by and they haven't used that agent, but you're the one who's been in front of them. You met them at an open house. Maybe it was a neighbor. They have an agent. but they hadn't talked to them in forever and you're in front of them, it's likely they'll go with you. You know, there's a good chance. So you want to keep that relationship going. All right, so this is interesting. So anyway, you have your lead capture, prospecting and marketing. And see how this kind of all falls into this giant cup of success. Your database, you put them in your database, then you take those leads and you move them into your contacts. So then you have those contacts and you cultivate the contacts for a conversation. So interactive and need-based offerings. So you want to then go from the general stuff to finding out what their needs are, finding out what their interests are, what their timeline is. I have an example that I just did last night. I have friends who I've known for a long time in Richmond, and they reached out to me and said, I don't know if you'd be interested in helping me, but we're looking at this property out in Goochland. And I just wanted to know if you could, you know, maybe find out more information about it. We're not ready to do anything yet. I'm like, oh, sure. Give me the MLS number because he got it on Zillow. And it ended up being a Keller Williams agent's property. So I was able to call her and get as much information about the property as I could. Well, then I said, hey, I've got some information. I said, y'all should go out and look at the property. They said, yeah, but we don't have a lot of time this weekend. So I kind of pushed a meeting around their schedule. And I said, well, I'm actually out in your neighborhood doing an open house. Can I swing by afterwards? And we can talk about this. I went by there last night. It went from that to they want to buy a house out there. They want to sell their house. They've prepared their house. Like it went from 0 to 100 in a very short period of time. And it was just because I stayed with them. And now I've got them. And now I've got them to buy and I've got them to sell. And they have a nice big house in Stratford Hills. So I'm like, yeah, this is a good one. Anyway, but yeah, it does work with that follow-up, you know, because I've had friends contact me and say, "You're interested in the real estate market," and I've let them go. And then I don't have them anymore and they've gone to someone else. And it's like, oh, that was bad. And so you're going to have those moments too. So lead becomes a contact, move your contacts, and then cement the relationship. 3 very important ones. High value touch that solidifies the relationship you have just established and opens the door for future interactions. So it's just very much common sense. Like find ways to solidify that interaction. So like you did that really well with the client you got that you're listing and they're buying, right?
Yes.
So Cheyenne she did not let up the gas. And she went through every step to provide what she could for these clients. It now has a 2-for-1, which is awesome. And so like doing that is going to be really important. And I can tell you as a newer agent, and I've been in your shoes not too long ago, the hardest thing is knowing, okay, I got a lead. No, what do? I don't know what to do. How do I go? Like, how do I cement this when I'm not even sure I can do this? So that's your mindset you got to work on. Like that's going to be your one thing that's going to draw you back. And I don't want that to be your thing. So I'm not going to say that anymore. I'm going to say, we're all going to have the opportunity to get that lead cemented and get rid of that fear and turn that fear into opportunity. Like fear is going to be pushed aside and opportunity is going to step in. And it's really important to keep that mindset in that place because you have coaches that will guide you through. They don't have to know that you're brand new. You don't have to tell them that. You just give them the value you know already. And if you don't, you let them know, let's have a meeting and talk about it and then scramble and get what you need and pull together your presentation and then you're ready. So you don't want to scramble. You want to have that done in advance. But, I've had a lot of phone calls from agents recently. They're like, I got this client and they asked me this, and I don't really know what I would do here. And it's just all practical stuff that you want to reach out and find out. So you're not wading in the pool and drowning, like, you know what you're doing. That's really important. Okay. All right, so this again, anybody have your thinking changed on follow-up?
Yeah, I personally, like me and Sharon were just talking, like, the leads we get, they'll like ignore us sometimes. And like I got a lead, I did a showing last week and they really like the house, but they're getting pre-approved. But I've been following up like ever since that, like different messages and stuff. I've been getting like a little bit replies, but like nothing really. And then I followed up again this morning. I didn't get discouraged, which I almost didn't follow up, but I followed up again this morning and she finally like answered all the questions I was asking and stuff. So we're gonna set a meeting this week to like go through everything.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
So follow up, even if you don't.
yes. So, we're ahead of schedule, which is great. So we have time to do some role play and kind of work through this stuff. But what, like, these questions, they seem kind of like, well, you know, I don't know what I feel, but I know I feel something. But it brings it to the surface to pay attention to these things, because this is gonna be the driver for you having those conversations and interactions. And I will say, knowing that these are the things that you want to have in your pocket when you're ready to go. If I culminated this, I would call it confidence. This is where your confidence comes out. And if someone's buying a house and it's their biggest investment in their life, if they can smell someone that doesn't have the confidence in what they're doing a mile away. And that is not going to be in your favor, because would they want to trust someone that they think is not confident enough to handle the job? So going through this process with your leads will help you build the confidence to approach them and know that you've got what you need to do it. So say we talked about capturing leads in businesses. So say you have someone you've captured in a business. You want to think about like, okay, now I've captured this lead in this business. I realize I can actually get clients through talking to them in a business and getting to know them. So thinking that through, and that's going to be like, oh, aha, yeah, now I get it. And then you're like, that person may have told you this story where they have 3 kids and they're renting and they live in a 2-bedroom apartment and they really need a house. That taps right into how you feel about that. And that's important, because that's going to drive you to be like, I want to help these people. So that's going to give you some level of value in what that does. And that will help drive you to help them. And then the actions that you take, say you have that client, look at the actions that client needs for you to get them to the sale. That client might need a really good lender. That client might need counseling. They may need the housing benefits that are available, the grant money. Or they just may need the confidence in what they have already and not realizing that they have the power to buy. And confidence in the market. That's a big, big thing. And so the actions you take from there is you want to make sure you go through the steps that can get them there. Don't bypass the lender. Don't bypass the qualification, like qualifying for housing, because that will stop them in their tracks. But that also is a great opportunity to talk with them and say, you know, I understand you feel like you may not be able to buy right now. I get that. But, you know, it takes time to buy a house and to think it through. And if I get you with my lender, this lender can give you some ideas on how you can build your credit. They can actually look at your credit and give you great strategies to get your credit where it needs to be 6 months. You know, give them something, some action they can do to get them there. And then the tools, you want to have the tools in your, I mean, and the tools are important, like your buyer presentation's a tool. Your having your information about the NAR is a tool. Maybe creating some kind of flyer that's very easy to understand. Great tool. Also having the knowledge of the grant monies that are out there and learning as much as you can about that. So this is really important to kind of follow this method as you're capturing your lead and keeping them, because if you don't follow a system, you're going to find yourself kind of out there randomly interacting, but not really sure how to hone in. And then it just doesn't work. It's just really hard to get that lead in your pocket if you're scrambling. So this is a good way to kind of keep you on target. All right, so back to this, your success system is always going to be your backup plan. Yeah, so today we did talk about capturing leads, and we talked about how we follow up with that lead. So I'm going to have you guys do some role play, and it's going to be fun. And those of you online, I know role play is really hard to do, but I'll let you do one on paper first. And that is, I want you to create a client in your mind, like give them a job of identity, identify a client. And then I want you to write out a plan on how you're going to approach that client. Maybe you could do it in the form of a conversation and create, you know, just kind of create a little framework of that person and how you may capture them as a lead. That make sense?
On the beginning of that. What?
So
Yeah, I don't really know.
so create a person, and then you can create in your mind, like, okay, this is a person that is a school teacher friend of mine, and I want to reach out to that person. What conversation you're going to have when you call them, how you're going to follow up with that person, and how you're going to capture them. There you go. Easy, is that clear?
Yeah.
It's just making you think about actually doing this, because we can talk about it for days, but to actually do it. Yeah. So you might just, and honestly, thinking of in steps that are easy to comprehend, like 3 steps, easy to comprehend. How you're going to approach the conversation, what you're going to say first. The second thing is going to be how you're going to follow up, and then how you're going to capture them. All right, go. We've got 4 minutes. And online, are y'all good? Oh, Juanita. That was you, Juanita.
Yes, I'm here.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good to see you. So we're doing a little kind of a writing exercise first to think through the actual realistic way to capture a lead. So we're creating a person that we meet, and it could be an actual person that you know, or it could be made up. And then how you approach them about real estate, what you do to follow up, and then how you can capture them into an actual contact lead business production. All right, we good?
Good. Mhm.
Okay, awesome. Okay. All right.
That's what we needed.
Those are my favorite. I was a cheerleader. I have to say, we have these microphones that stood behind, and we'd have to like. It's all right. There's no wrong answer. That's the good part. This is all you. All right, I'm gonna give you 2 more minutes. Is that enough?
Yeah.
Okay, 2 more minutes. If you just tuned in, Chris, did you just tune in? Because we're doing a little exercise. And Logan,
I'm here. I've been kind of multitasking. I'm sorry. I probably have to go back and look at the recording. It's been a
it's
busy
okay.
morning.
Do you know what we're doing? I want to make sure you know why we're quiet right now.
You said that we were reconnecting with the people that we had not spoken to and how we would initiate a conversation with them.
Yeah, pretty much just kind of thinking through the steps and the first conversation you have, the second conversation to capture them, and third conversation of like solidifying it.
Yes.
All right, time is up, but you can keep working, Chris. We're going to be in the room first. So now you are going to have a partner, and you're going to tell that person what their name is and what their profession is and who they are, and then you're going to do this with them. All right? Does that make sense? So you're going to use this format to have that conversation with that person, then you're going to switch. And I'll be your partner. And those of you online, I don't know if we can break out into rooms.
You would be. Would be fine.
I'm not sure how to.
Captures the- Like, okay, so the person that came to mind, all my conversations with like are so awesome. And that's my problem. I feel like I came here to like
That's okay.
be more bold, right?
try.
So I would be like, so
So
first
who am I?
reach out, so a friend, like I hate talking to my sphere about real estate,
Okay.
which is crazy, because I have a huge sphere, but I don't wanna
I hear.
cross that line. So I could call people all day, they're like, open house leads or whatever, right? Always call me out, like that. But when it's somebody I know, it's a little, so I always start with like a text, because.
Okay, so tell me what it is. Just make me the
Right.
person.
Okay, so you're Susie.
Okay.
So I'll say, hi Susie, I hope you're doing great. I saw you got your daughters off to college last week, such a nerve-wracking time, but I know they'll do great. I'm reaching out to everyone to see if they have any questions about real estate these days. There's so much craziness in the news. I didn't know if I could clear anything up for you. And things like that.
You're in real estate?
Yes, I am. So
When did you do that, Mindy? I didn't know.
it's like 8 years now.
Weren't you like a teacher or something?
No, I was in mortgage before that. So yeah.
It's super happy for you.
So much. So if I can ever help you or any of your friends, family, colleagues, I would love it for an introduction.
Awesome. Actually, I do have a neighbor who was talking about selling the house. Yeah.
I would love that.
Send me your information and because I don't know if I have it updated in my phone.
And if you want to do a group text between the three of us, that'd be great too. Talk to you.
Yeah, go ahead and send me that. And Okay, so, all right, that was good. That was good. I tried to feed you a little bit, but
Thank you, because like then things end, usually people don't feed me with a favor or whatever, right?
they will respond
Right.
in a positive way.
Yeah.
So the one step you could have
I'm not
taken,
capturing, I mean, I've already got their information, it's their friend, but
the one step you could have taken also with that, and it's a little pushy, but you could try it, is say, hey, if you don't mind, if you could send me their information, I can reach out to them. Or put me on a good text.
yeah, yeah.
Like, ask them to give it to me.
Okay.
Good job. All right, so I'm gonna let someone online role play with me. Juanita, would you like to role play with me?
Happy to.
Okay, so I'm gonna be your person. Am I a friend or a stranger?
You're a previous coworker.
Okay, okay.
Hi, Peggy.
Hi, yeah.
Hi, this is Juanita Leatherberry. Haven't talked to you in quite a while. How things going?
Good. Oh my gosh, it's so good to hear from you.
Well,
Man,
thank
it's
you.
been years.
Good to hear from you too. Excuse my voice. I've been a little under the weather. But anyway,
I can
look,
see that.
I was just calling to catch up with you. Good to hear everything is going good. Where are you now?
Oh my gosh, I left teaching and I got into an actual writing job through Capital One. It's way better. It's been, a really good journey for me.
That's
What about
super.
you? Like
I'm good. Are you still here in Richmond or have you moved?
I am. Yeah, we moved out to the West End.
Awesome. You mean you moved recently?
Yeah, a few years ago.
Oh, okay. Well, good. Yeah, I'm still here in Richmond, still living in my same house. And I'm calling you for two reasons. One reason is since we're both retired from Pfizer, we both worked at Pfizer. I was just wondering if you had any real estate needs or if you knew of anyone else who might have a real estate need. That's one reason for calling you. And then after we talk about that, I have another one that's even more exciting.
Oh, and what is that?
Well, you want the exciting one first, so you want to tell me if you have any real estate?
We just did our house a couple of years ago, but I actually have a friend who said they were interested in my neighborhood. So, I could see if they have an agent. They may not because they're fairly new to Richmond.
Perfect. Yeah, well, anyway, tell them if you don't mind, give them my information. I worked in the finance department and, I'm actually doing a real estate agent now for going on 10 years.
Oh, wow. That's great.
And I work just with my sphere of influence. I don't do typically cold calling. I call people like you that I know. And so hoping to connect and then to just find out if I can be of any service to you or them. So
Awesome.
you kind of know my background a little bit, so I don't need to go into all of that, but I would love for you to hook us up and see if I can help them.
Okay, thank you, Juanita. Send me your phone number, your current information, because I don't think I have it in my contacts. This number came up and I didn't have your name on there.
Oh my goodness, that's a shame. Shame on me. Well, the second reason I'm calling you, what I'd like for you to do is I'm going to send that to you and then you pass it on to that person. And I will definitely, if you give me their information, I'll definitely follow up with them as well.
Okay.
The second reason for calling is, are you planning to come to our luncheon we're having?
I couldn't hear you.
Are you planning to come to our luncheon we're having in December?
Oh, I didn't know you were having a luncheon. What is that?
Well, it's a retirees luncheon. We have a couple of them a year. And I noticed you hadn't been to the last couple we've had. Of course, everybody kind of got off cycle during COVID, but we're having another one coming up in December. And I wanted to make sure you're on the list and we'll have that on your calendar to come.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, please send that to me because that would be fun. I'd love to catch up with everybody.
Okay, well, make a note right now. It's December 12th. It's the second Thursday in December, and it's going to be a blast. I'll give you all the information. What I'll do is just send you all the information where it's going to be. But for now, just put it on your calendar.
Okay.
When I hear from you and get your current contact information, if you give me your email, I'll make sure that you get a flyer. So you have all the
Oh,
information.
awesome.
about the lunch.
Well, thanks, Juanita. Listen, I gotta go, but thanks so much for calling.
Good talking to you. Thank you.
All right, you too.
All right,
All
bye-bye.
right. That was awesome, Juanita. Yay. What I liked about it is you had something that you could promote to them, to invite them to. So-
Right.
So that was a reason you could call them. So that was good. Yeah, I can tell you've done this a long time. Anybody else want to share their, any interaction that they want to do? I'm happy to be here, or you can do it with someone else online. Role play is not always for everybody. It's kind of scary. All right, y'all, we're gonna actually time out for a second. All right, so I just had a really fun role play with Juanita, and I had one with Mindy. How many of you were able to switch in this time frame that we just had? So you were able to switch your conversation? Good, because that is something to think about. Like, you don't want to be in that conversation too long. So time is going to be something you'll want to keep track of. And you want to try to like measure that based on how you lead the conversation. Now, in the conversation, who talked the most? The person that was the realtor or the person that was the customer? Person. I mean, in this role play, who was doing the talking mostly? Be honest.
The realtor.
The realtor.
I think we had, like, we both talked the same amount.
Good questions being asked, that's very interesting.
So I think with a phone call, if you're in a phone call scenario, like Juanita just did a really good example. She started with personal contact because she knew me from work. Like, we were both retired from Pfizer. We worked together. She reached out to me just to catch up. And then she said, and I just have a couple things I want to share with you because I'm in real estate, if you have a minute. And then after that little bit of framework of interacting and hearing about each other, what they're doing, then she went straight into having this, this information about what she, that she's a realtor. She's been in it for 10 years. She'd love to help you. Is there anybody you know? I gave her that. Then she ended with, I'm having, are you going to the retirement luncheon in December? So she picked something that she thought that they had in common, that she might attend. And I was like, no, I didn't. So she said, I'm going to send you the information, put it on your calendar, go with me to that. So that was really good, Juanita, because you kept it kind of in the zone of the purpose of your call, which was calling to reconnect. But then you put that real estate part in there to announce it, so it was really good. Well done. So
Thank you.
I think in that scenario on a phone call, you're going to be probably the one leading the conversation, and you really want to do that so you can get to the points that you need to get to. And I know for me, I'm a chatter. I love to chat, and I might get caught up in the chat part, and then all of a sudden they don't have time for the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll find people only have so much attention span on the phone.
Yeah.
So you want to do a real quick kind of initial, how are you doing? What's been going on? I've been going through my contacts, or I've thought about you and I wanted to reach out for this reason. And then you're right there. You're in that mode.
You did a good job of being direct without pushing.
Yeah, good. How did you guys do?
Yeah, hers was kind of like that. First, the old coworker, I did, I got a lot of like, like farmers market and stuff, so I did talking to a vendor.
Okay. All right. So that was pretty easy, direct, right? You had your person, you knew who they were. Was it a phone call? Did y'all make it a phone call? Yeah. Okay. So now let's do an experiment. And I'm sorry, those of you online can't participate with this, but you can chime in and hear this. I want y'all, I'll come to the front of the room. All right, so somebody tell me a place.
Alaska.
In Richmond, a place in Richmond.
Riverbend Coffee Shop.
Riverbend Coffee Shop, okay. Somebody give me a profession.
You're up.
Doctor.
Oh, there we go.
Doctor, okay. Now give me a reason for us being in that coffee shop.
Or their shift.
Oh, have you already met them before?
Well, let's do it where we're all in the same world.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we're all, so say you've got a bunch of friends at MCB. Hey, let's all go up and have some coffee. Yeah. Okay, hang it out. All right, so let's say I'm gonna pick one of you to be in the room. And these are people that are all there to get coffee and you're not in that group. And we're gonna see if you guys can approach this, okay? All right, so who would like to be the odd man out? Really? Okay, how's it going?
Now, is everyone doctors or?
We're all from MCD.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. So we're all walking, okay, so let's all walk in.
I need a white coat.
Now, did I invite everyone? Am I like posting?
Getting
Oh.
coffee. You're just.
They're working on your computer. You don't know.
Okay.
All right, so we walk in, we're like, oh my gosh, I haven't been here in so long. The Churchill blend, oh my God, it's so good. You're a tea girl? Oh, okay. All right, so yeah, God, the line is so long. Oh my gosh, well, I hope it has time.
Well, hold on, I'm trying to think what it's called. Hey, I saw your MCV shirt. Are you working over the hospital over there?
Oh, yeah, so we all work, we all
You all
work.
work at the.
Yeah.
Hey, my name's Dylan. I just was getting a coffee over here. Sorry to interrupt. I know you guys were having a little conversation, but I wanted to let you know that I'm a realtor out here in Richmond.
Oh,
And yeah, I wanted to see if are any of you in the market to buy or sell right now? That's kind of broad. Hold on. I'm not gonna do that.
Well, you did cut to the chase.
I think that's okay.
But you don't have a lot of time. in this scenario.
But I also, sorry, I wouldn't have actually done that. If I would have.
No,
One person.
No, you didn't. No, you were dressed, well, okay, so first of all, we all said, yeah, we all work at MCV. And there might be two people in this group that are really shy that won't say a word. And then there's two people that will be like, oh, sure. Good to see you, like there's gonna be that person. So take it from there.
Okay.
So
Well,
your name's Dylan? Oh,
Yeah,
Dylan.
Dylan.
Cool, awesome.
So yeah, what do you guys do in the hospital?
Well, I actually am I'm the administrator of this section. These guys are all kind of in my group. And
Okay.
we got a mix of nurses and doctors and.
Medical surgeon. Nice. Well, awesome. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
she's-
you guys are doing a little coffee break.
Yeah,
before
oh my
you-
gosh, yeah, the day's been really,
I get that.
Wild.
It's been a long week, but that's awesome. I don't want to take too much of your time. I just wanted to introduce myself. I have a business card for you if you'd like.
Cool.
And yeah, so my name's Dylan again. If you're in the Richmond area, if you need anyone, or if you know anyone who's trying to buy or sell a home, I would love to help you guys out and I won't take too much.
awesome, Dylan, thanks so much. Yeah, I'll take your card. Yeah, sure.
Oh.
Yeah, okay, so you approached us. That was good. That's a very hard thing to do. Yeah. And people might react differently.
I was too
Hey,
forward.
I mean, somebody might say, hey, yeah, thanks, we're actually.
Yeah, we're good. Like,
And then what would you do?
if they're good, be like, yeah, absolutely. My apologies. I just wanted to introduce myself, and then if they want to come back to that, then. But if I'm overstepping and they're in a group, then I'm gonna be like, okay, yeah, I totally gotta respect their space, and they might just have that coffee like that. I don't want to be the pushy stuff in that scenario.
Okay, so I would say one thing that you could do that might open this gate a little bit more is you frequent this coffee shop a lot. So you're like, oh my gosh, y'all, I just have to tell you, I just had the best coffee latte. They have this special right now going on. It's a pumpkin spice latte. So good. Like, and like have you had that before? And then you kind of open that window of, you're not a salesperson, you're not in,
It's just,
so you've got this conversation now that has nothing to do with what you do.
Yeah.
So then that might strike a conversation with one person in the group
okay.
that would create that.
So that.
And you could take it a step further. If you really wanted to. If there are only 3 of us,
I know.
I'd love to treat you to a cup of coffee.
Yep.
You know, hey,
You guys work at the hospital.
it's on me. Y'all, thanks so much.
Let me hook you up.
Exactly. There you go.
I know you're
Contribution,
exhausted.
contribution, and then end it with, so guys, yeah, I mean, I hope I see you here again. I actually am a realtor in this neighborhood and I live just down the street. I love it. I don't know if you guys have ever thought about living over here in this neighborhood, but it's so cool. Anybody looking to buy or sell, then you've got that conversation. So, well, it's establishing a reason that's not a sales reason. So, but I did set you up for a really hard scenario.
Well, it was like the amount of people, like, I was like,
Yeah, I know.
I don't know who to address right now.
Right, and I mean, I don't know that you'd be totally comfortable approaching a group of people, but I have found myself in the mix because you're in a small space.
Yeah.
So then I've been in scenarios where I just naturally go, oh my God, I love your shoes. Those are so cute. Where'd you get those? There you go.
I love it.
Yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
and I feel like so few people do it.
Yes, and
That
then
it takes people by surprise. They're like, oh my gosh. Yeah. I had people say random things to me, like, oh my gosh, I love the color of your hair. And I'm like, really? Oh God, I have those, you know, and then I'm like, I'll put myself down and then it just kind of creates this whole thing. Yeah, you're right. People really love to be complimented. And then they also want to be valued, like they feel like, oh, this person actually sees something good in me. You know, so that's a good way to kind of approach that. Now, that would be a good way to get a lead possibly, but then to actually capture that person is where you introduce yourself as an agent, and if they throw any bones at you of, you know what, I really am thinking about buying a place. I've only been in Richmond a year, you know. Can you tell me what the market's like? What are the interest rates? That's a big question people ask. Say, you know what? I would love to help you and I can get that information for you. Here's my, here, take my card, do the thing that you do to capture them. And I want to get one of those cards. Say, here, if you do this, and they'll give you all my information and that way I have your information. I can send you what you're asking for. I'd love to help you with that. I have a great lender partner that I work with who has all that information. And yes, rates have gone down. Yeah, this is a really good pocket of time to buy. Give them that framework, like, don't wait till next year. Like, now is the time to buy because the market's gonna be hot and everybody's gonna be out there buying. So if you're interested, I'd love to help you. And that's, capturing them that way, then they'll have a reason to give you their information. And they might not, but it's that next step. So, all right. Anybody want to create one more scenario that's a little different?
No, that's. I can't do that.
I was there for.
Let's do PTA night. Gus, you've been invited because you used to teach at this school and they know you're in real estate and they want to have somebody talk about they need a filler or somebody to talk about how you can buy and sell in this market as a teacher. Like, we're all teachers and we're here at this event. Okay, so.
Take it away. Well, I appreciate you guys coming first and foremost. I know you guys have to do your faculty meeting anyway, but I'll take not too much of your time. First and foremost, my name is Gus Lewis. I'm with Keller Williams Realty here in Richmond. And I just wanted to let you guys know that that there's a special program in the county. I wasn't sure if you guys are aware of it, but there's a website out there. If you want more information on it, I could go through my slideshow here and kind of show you some things, but overall, what they're looking for is if you're a first-time home buyer, they're gonna give you a special grant. I believe let's say it's $20,000, okay, to start out. But if you
Wow.
have, yeah.
Really?
That's like, I think it's somewhere in that range.
25?
I know, right? Is it more? Yeah, yeah. So I looked at it last year and it was pretty substantial. But yeah, so if you're interested, I'll leave my contact information. I just, don't want to take a lot of your time, so I know teachers is really valuable. But anyways, my name's Gus again.
All right, awesome, Gus. That was great. Thank you, short and sweet.
You know what I do love?
Yeah.
About when we're having our things, and I think it's Capital Home that comes in and says, everybody text me for this quick raffle.
Yeah, that's a good one. I
Yeah,
like
it's
that one.
brilliant.
Right.
Like, so if you're having an active audience like teachers,
Yeah.
be like, hey, if you enter this raffle, everybody text me at this number.
I was
With
gonna
your
do,
name.
I was gonna do, I
And
was gonna do a game that they
Yeah.
would do like students.
That's what I was gonna say, like,
Do quizzes, yeah, some I used to do with my students, yeah.
Yeah.
I would say tie in some entertainment in there.
Oh, yeah.
Like tie in something, and it's perfect
Anything,
with,
anything that you do, really.
yeah, I mean, it
Like
could
like
be,
the raffle that she did.
exactly.
That stuff really people connect with,
Yeah.
And if you know teachers, you can come up with something that either tell a joke or, do an icebreaker. They have so many icebreakers out there, use an icebreaker as a way to break into to
Yeah.
them to pay attention.
There was a guy who came in and, he was selling like retirement information, right? But he would like play the guitar.
Oh.
Yeah, and sing a song.
There you
It's a
go.
really funny song, yeah, about teachers and students.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely helpful to kind of break in with something fun and personal
Yeah,
and non-real
you
estate.
stand out.
Yeah, and then, and maybe even an interactive way of doing this, of like, how many of you are homeowners? How many of you like have dreams of living in a bigger house, or like, how many of you, or pick something that you think they might want? Anybody dream of having that perfect backyard, or,
Yeah, I shouldn't have limited it just at like the, first time.
no, I put you on the spot.
Yeah.
You did
Well,
good.
that's that
Yeah.
thing, right? I think.
Yeah, that's what, yeah, when I saw that, I was like, oh darn, that doesn't work for me.
Yeah. And I just think a lot of it, if it's the big piece of connecting and and capturing is relating to them where they are, meet them where they are, who they are. And, then work from that angle of getting them in your world. And find something relevant to them. So say teachers, so many of them, I mean, it's such a service job, and they just don't, they do it because they love it, or they do it because they have to, because they know that's what they did and they're stuck. Maybe find something fun. I know teachers love fun stuff. Maybe bring in like a Hawaiian theme thing, like everybody, hey, let's all go to the beach, and then bring in a beach ball and like play beach ball or something. I mean, I'm just throwing this spitballing on my head, but like something that's fun that lightens them up and go, oh yeah, this is fun. And then maybe even create a dream house, or bring in a Barbie dream house and be like, oh, anybody want to live in a Barbie dream house? Well, we can actually talk about a real dream house. So anything that kind of captures their attention. And you can use it not only for something like this, but for any kind of group event that you have a captive audience. Now I'm gonna do one more. It's time. Okay, good luck. We're gonna do one more, and that's, we're gonna be in Home Depot. And I have my name tag on.
You want people?
No, actually, it's not gonna be me. I'm gonna
Yeah, I was
have
about to say that one.
Um,
Later around, yeah, I know, right?
Okay, Mindy, you're gonna be in the Home Depot line with Cheyenne. And you guys are gonna be staying in line, and you have your tag on. Okay. All right, so now I'll be the cashier, so you're staying in line. I don't know, what, how you,
I love your shirts.
Oh, thank
Where'd you
you.
get that? Chanel.
oh, never heard of that. Is that a website?
Yes, it's online.
Look that up. And that is so weird to me.
So here.
But here's what you can do.
Segue.
Here's what you can do. You got your tag on,
Yeah.
so she knows
Oh.
already. But, yeah, hey,
What's the case?
but that you can turn that compliment. And where'd you get that? That was
I
perfect.
need clothes for
Say,
work.
I'm
That's perfect.
really needing some good clothes for my real estate business, like, oh, might open a door.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I am. Me too. Are you? Awesome. Which company are you?
KW.
Oh, me too.
Where you go from there?
Referral business.
Oh, are you here local?
No, I'm actually coming from Alaska.
Oh, she love Alaska, yeah. Do you,
I live there.
okay. Do you still live there or you're
Yeah.
visiting?
I'm here visiting.
Oh, wow, we should totally hook up and send each other referrals.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, awesome, there you go. Okay, there you go.
Can y'all hurry up and laugh?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's such a great, I mean, it's just an opportunity.
Right.
It is awkward, but you can find ways for it not to be awkward.
Yeah. I want to share this one because my boyfriend, he's so good. I'm like, you can just get real estate, but because he know I talk to people. So we were in line at Walmart. Well, I mean, we were in the aisle at Walmart looking for candy for the open house. And we were looking, what to get? I don't know what we should get. And there was two ladies over there. And he goes, hey, what do you guys think that type of candy we should get for an open house? What type of candy would you like there, whatever? And they were like, like the soft peppermints and, you know, stuff like that. And then they're like, where's your open house gonna be? And that opened up the conversation.
Oh, yeah.
Just like that. I was like, he is good.
Yeah. Oh, my husband does it too, but he's more blunt. Like,
Yeah.
hey, you need a realtor? She's the best in town. I'm like, oh, shut up. I mean, it's a little like, okay, but,
That's smart. Yeah.
yeah. All right. Well, y'all, thanks for, it was a success. The role play is so crucial because you can talk about it all day, but to actually actively practice it,
Yeah.
the more you practice, the better it's gonna be. And, there was a incredibly successful agent at a family reunion last year that said he didn't have any business and he practiced role play every day. Every day. He made it part of his day. And he has this unbelievable business because he knows how, he just knows how to talk to people and, you know,
Yeah.
practice and yeah, there's
You get better
scripts.
too.
Yeah, you do. And I learned some things from you, Mindy, like in that phone conversation, like, and also Juanita, I learned some things from hers. Thank you guys for being here online. Appreciate it. I'm sorry we couldn't get y'all involved in that last
I
bit,
have this like backpack.
but
It's like a bubble.
all right, guys. So
Everyone talks
I
to
think there might be a class this afternoon.
everyone.
Anybody know about the class this afternoon?